need to go to the NAACP Awards this year. No shade.
Why you said no shade?
It's just kind of just the thing. It's a sentence enhancer.
Why would it be shade?
There is no shade.
Oh, I was curious. I don't know.
I just said it's just a sentence enhancer. It doesn't always mean that you're about to be shading. Just like no shade, like, you know?
No, I don't.
We don't, yeah.
This is why I say you guys have to hang out with more queer people. You guys will understand certain queer language more.
I didn't even know that was a queer.
It is a queer thing,
Yeah.
but I don't agree with that statement though.
What?
I hang out with plenty of queer people, and no shade has always been used as no shade, not
But
just
it's
Like, I don't
also
mean
kind of
no
like
harm by
just
it, right?
It's just a
kind of like
statement.
not. I don't mean no harm, but it's just like not trying to like slight you, but
Yeah, but it's also
it's like how you respectfully.
It's just
Yeah.
a thing too.
But when I say respectfully, I actually mean respectfully. I might just be
Yeah.
Right, but then you about to say something that could be taken any other way. It's just like it's a disclaimer. No shade.
That was perfect,
But yeah, it's just like no shade. Like,
girl.
I just like saying so many extra things. It's just like, yeah.
She's a yapper.
I wonder if the person that created Urban Dictionary gets a check.
They got to.
Like,
If you wasn't Urban Dictionary, Blue
Oh,
Waffles,
they do
you don't
podcasts.
know.
who?
The NAACP Awards.
Mhm.
I'm about to listen.
I think Native Land won last year or something like that.
I'm about to look up how you nominate motherfuckers. We getting nominated.
You pay. I know because
Oh,
You big.
my nomination didn't go through.
you have to pay to nominate?
That's pretty standard.
Really? That's not how it is with the Grammys.
What the
Mm-mm.
fuck?
It's not standard for all the awards. But I'm
Okay.
saying like for NAACP, I think it's like $50 if I can remember correctly. I can't
Oh,
remember.
well, that's cheap,
but
but still.
it's not
You
anything
ever,
crazy,
like-
but yeah.
Leave your tab open, and it's
You had
like,
porn on there?
no.
Oh.
But it looked like I didn't send an email that I was supposed to send on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to refresh it. I did send it. It's like,
You was scared,
Yeah, I don't have them problems, bro. You know, I'm not in a corporate space.
so you don't have to email.
It's a blessing.
If I missed the email, I probably just missed it. But I mean,
One thing about me, I don't miss no email.
You know, one thing I've been learning that
What?
I had to work on was responsiveness, like fast response. You're really good at that.
Yes,
Like, you respond immediately
you
to a
got
lot
to
of
be
things.
responsible.
in a text. Yeah,
Yeah.
in a text.
But like everybody, I've been watching School of Hard Knocks. I've been talking to him about that a lot, and everybody was like, "Your responsiveness," because you just never know when an opportunity might slip you
Oh,
by.
so you the type that?
Nah, I'm terrible.
Ooh.
I won't fumble a bag though, but I'm just
So
saying.
you got a lot of unread messages. You got that bubble that say a lot of numbers.
How many numbers? Let me
Everybody,
Mine
pull it
went
up right
down.
now.
I don't
How
know.
many unread messages do you guys
Nah,
have?
it's not as
Four.
bad as it used to
Four.
be.
see. I have. Yeah, I only got 253.
Only
Yeah.
got
So mine
253.
used to be like 494.
Yeah,
but it like updated and now
Yeah,
it's like
I
94.
have a new phone, so like mine
Like
used to be
94.
probably like 1,000 or something.
Yeah, it was bad.
How did? Okay.
That
My
don't drive y'all
email-
insane?
How
My
is
email
that
is like
possible?
1,800.
A lot of people be
1,800.
texting.
Yeah, nah, I don't
Y'all
play that.
never read them. Y'all just never open them.
I mean, it's just like the day goes by.
Yeah, like if
it
somebody
didn't
say
mind.
okay, like some shit don't need to be responded to.
But you don't even open it like that.
Say
gives
just to
me
remove the
anxiety.
notification. It
So how
gives me
many
anxiety
unread
too.
messages? Victor, don't
Like I
comment.
said, somebody sent $100. I don't have to open that.
Yeah, but just to get
But
rid of the
right,
notification.
just so you, because how you gonna know if you get a message? That's how y'all be missing shit.
How many you got?
It come again.
No,
I
I
have
know the
one.
number.
And the reason I have one is because it's something that I need to attend.
I do the
to.
same thing. That's
So
why I
that
have.
that's
I
my
don't even wanna tell
reminder.
y'all the
Yes,
email one.
because as soon as you see it, you're like, oh, don't open that because then I
Exactly.
got.
I'm
I'm
like,
not ready to
Okay, what
address
about
it
you?
yet.
What
Exactly.
about your
I have to
email?
go back.
Yeah.
What about your email one?
Email is a little bit different.
Oh no, mine is still
but
low.
I got a spam email.
so
though.
I have a new email for work. That's completely cleared. I never miss an email for there. Then I have like my email that I've had for years and years and years. Obviously, that's like in the thousands and thousands because you know they start categorizing it by
Right.
promotion and stuff.
Oh, I delete
But
them.
as far as like the recents, it's cleared.
Okay.
No, my email.
don't
I
do
have
that.
5, and that's only because they're new. They about to get deleted. As soon as they come up, I delete them.
Mm.
Like I don't
I
play
hate
that shit. I don't like notifications either. That red
I
dot
check
gives me
every
anxiety.
single
You know what that means? She saw your text message. That's what that boils down to. She just didn't respond. Like to people that be like, "Oh, I didn't have time. I didn't see it."
Oh,
That's all that means is that they be seeing the message. They just don't be responding.
You talking about me?
I'm saying in general.
I see everything. I can say that for me.
But
I
she
see
like, I don't be-
every DM. Well, I would say on Instagram. TikTok is a little different because I don't check those because it's literally spam.
Mhm.
Like 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be spam in the request folder. So I don't check those because it's spooky over there.
Mhm.
But as far as Instagram, you miss some money one time on Instagram and you'll check them requests every single time now. So my DMs are I know I've seen every DM.
You said if you miss one,
Mm-hmm.
then what?
I said I've missed a DM that could have been some money because it
Oh.
was in that request, deep hidden, whatever the fuck folder. And it's like now I don't want to miss opportunities or just connections or anything like that. So I try to I check my DMs every day. I miss nothing. So if I don't respond to a DM, just know.
I feel you. I do. I hate that I'm on the same page with you.
You hate that you're on the same page as me?
Yeah, because I don't want to have to live like that.
Why do you hate that you're on the same page as me?
Not you personally. I just hate that like we are there because I don't want to have to live like that. I feel like
Live like what?
To be able to choose what you respond to.
Yeah, like the fact that we have to be on. We have to be aware 1,000.
I mean, to be fair, I've always been like that, but I think it's like something about having notifications. Not notifications, the like bubble of saying missing something that literally drives me insane. I don't like that. I needed everything to be clear.
I was coming to the point when you was like, if you miss the opportunity.
Oh yeah.
Like I hate having it, like, cause like once you start getting to it,
Yeah.
like, if the opportunity, if it wasn't meant for me, that's how you look. But
And
when you
can I
need
just
it,
say, stop trying to send me good opportunities via DMs. I have my email very visible.
Mm.
That was just a little personal gripe for me.
No. Professional development at its highest.
Oh, I found it.
What you looking for?
The NAACP Image Award that he's nominated under Outstanding Short Form Series or Special Reality Nonfiction Documentary.
Period.
Let me go ahead and put my vote
Shout
in.
out to
Them ankles is
Off the Porch, right?
Front Porch.
Porch.
Let me put my vote in.
What?
Is
Is
it
it
off
off
the
the porch?
I'm going to send all y'all the link
Yeah.
and y'all go
I
vote
did something
too.
Yeah, Off the Porch. Shout out to Front Porch. Shout out to Nucci. Shout out to the guys in DC. I mean, it's impressive what they doing over there. Honestly, like,
Yeah.
how do you
I love
turn
that
the
platform.
notifications
Okay, baby.
off on your Apple Watch? Like, how do I turn the volume
Oh,
down?
that's what that's speaking.
Yeah, like, bro, this is
You might have
pissing
to,
me
like,
off.
Go to the
I just sent it to y'all.
perhaps.
Make
Swipe
sure
down.
everybody go and vote.
swipe down.
Well, I got to see the
I
other
didn't know you could
nominees.
do that.
Hold
Listen, no,
on.
you down. Oh, the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl joint is
Oh,
in
okay, Kendrick, you didn't want to know.
Who's he
that,
up
baby.
against?
Kendrick. So
College
college-
is?
yeah,
That's tough.
College Game Day, Michael Vick, that documentary. Glam Through the Ages. It's him, Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance, and The Daily Show After the Cut. I don't
Yeah.
care about none of that. Go vote.
And it was for Patty's. Was it for
Yeah,
Patty
it's
specifically,
Patty's.
or is it just that was a good one? Patty looked good
She do look good.
with that deep.
I don't know
part.
if it's specifically that one or what, but
I'll put it. Do I gotta put my
it's
whole?
for the whole entire series, like the whole thing, though.
Do I gotta
So
put my
guess-
name and shit in? Like, I gotta
No,
find
you
it.
just press the button, vote, and then it.
All right, I'm about to go vote. But I just
That's
voted.
also true.
Cause I'm about to say, I hate when they make it so complicated. You gotta
Yeah,
do
then
all
you
that,
gotta,
bro.
yeah, no. All you do is press vote, and then it's accepted.
All right, I just
Period.
voted. Put my
That's so
vote in.
cool. Shout out to
I'm
all
about to
my
send it
friends
to
that are nominated
everybody.
as well. I have several friends nominated for awards for NAACP, and I just
You can only
So
vote
proud.
once. That's tough.
What's that NAACP award?
Image award.
Yeah, what is it?
It's just a.
I don't really know how to answer that. If I'm being honest,
So it's kind of like
it's literally just you know the NAACP Image Awards.
Mm-mm.
You've never seen the NAACP Image Awards.
Maybe.
Do you know what the NAACP is?
Kind of, sort of.
The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
Yeah, but I would be lying if I knew exactly what they did.
it's okay.
Okay, we're
This is-
here.
I feel like more people should be
It's an
like
opportunity
honest
for.
and-
And I-
This is an
and I-
opportunity for
that's
growth.
how-
That's why I said it's
Like,
an
That's how- you
opportunity
know
for
what?
growth.
honest, like,
This is an opportunity for growth.
So, yeah, it's a very long. It's a very old organization
Mhm.
developed in I think either the 50s or the 60s.
Kind of like NUO.
Yeah, literally for the advancement of Black folks. Like, so they did a lot of social and economic things.
You said
Policies.
I think it was. Said 116 years on their website.
How long?
116 years.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't in. Maybe I'm thinking of SNCC.
So what is the awards for? Like,
It's
So, I
kind
mean-
of like the BET Awards.
Yeah.
It's similar to BET Awards. So they celebrate a lot of Black folks and other people of color for just different achievements that they've done. So they do music, TV and film, sports. They do a lot of other things. Because I know BET kind of is mainly music. I know they have a couple other awards, but it's mainly music. The Image Awards, they have like a whole list of just things because it's specifically focused on like Black folks' achievements. Simply
Kind of
put.
like we weren't accepted to those other places, so we made our own.
My sister funny.
In a sense, like the Grammys, the Oscars, the.
So do we take it serious? Like I know because people talk so much shit
For
on BET
sure.
Awards.
No.
I don't know why people talk shit about the BET Awards.
Oh.
I don't like that they do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because who was the one that was like, I've never won a BET award? Was it
I know exactly.
Childish Gambino, where he was like, I have
him?
an Oscar, a Grammy. But I've
No.
never. Somebody said
no,
it something along the lines of that.
It was
but I don't have a BET award.
Sexy. Rock and roller. Lenny Kravitz.
Did he say that?
I think
too?
it was Lenny Kravitz who
Rock
said
and
that.
roller.
I
Like-
feel like
I love
it was
how you
him
just did all that.
because I remember having a commentary about how I do have critiques about the BET Award. One thing about me, I'm never out of critiques. As much as I celebrate the BET Awards, my critique about them is they often do not celebrate the alternative sector of Blackness as far as like rock and roll, country, and things like that. They don't those are kind of iced out. It's centered around R&B and hip hop mainly.
Oh.
And so I remember thinking to myself, well, that's kind of a valid point because we don't really have a space for that. He's only ever been there to like, announce an award or to kind of just be there. But I was like, yeah, he's definitely not been nominated. So I feel like it was Lenny Kravitz who said that.
That's interesting. I just looked up the list. This is as of 2022, so it might
Mm-hmm.
have changed. But this is an interesting list. It's like 8 artists who have never won a BET award.
Wait, so I'm sorry, y'all. Did y'all explain exactly what NAACP was? I know you said it's for the advancement of
I
color
did.
people, but
I did.
that was it?
It's like a civil rights organization.
No, I said
I'm sorry, Jamila.
it's fine.
What exactly did you say? I heard you say the
Is that what
advancement.
we're doing today? Not listening to me specifically? Is it a me thing? Is it something about my voice that just you tune out? Or do
No,
you,
I apologize. I was just like trying to multitask. You said it was it's for the advancement of color people. I heard that part.
the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. That's what it stands for.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he said, it's a civil rights organization specifically geared to the social and economic uplifting of people of color. And they participated heavily in the civil rights movement.
Mhm.
So it's a national organization. They do a lot of groundwork. They also have individual chapters. They also have collegiate chapters. I was a part of the collegiate chapter at Georgia State. Yeah.
Founded by W.E. Du Bois, Ida
That
B.
boy.
Wells, Mary White Ovington, Henny Winooski. I don't know. Yeah. So some heavy hitters on there.
W. Du Bois, also known as one of the fathers of sociology.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I was saying. So this is bigger than a BET award.
I guess it just depends on what you.
I'm about to
How you
say,
feel? I don't know
BET
if
is
that's
Black entertainment. I think they kind of somewhat go hand in hand in a little bit, but the NAACP awards, it's not just about. I mean, I guess it is. The Image Awards is pretty much like
I would
entertainment.
say it's
but
pretty big, but I know with BET it came from the network. So I guess if you want to, as far as like social impact, the NAACP has absolutely had more social impact than BET because BET is an entertainment platform in which we had the awards come from. I believe 2000 or 2001 was the first awards. I want to say 2000.
What?
Anyways, the first BET awards,
Oh, okay. Mhm.
something along those lines. I don't remember when the first NAACP awards.
I think this is their
but-
57th.
What it was?
57th.
That's when the first awards was.
No,
This
this is
their
their
57th.
57th.
This is their
and-
57th award. Okay,
Yes.
got you. So yeah, I mean, like it's whatever I guess you would perceive as better, but I think better is like subjective.
Mm.
But I think everybody who was nominated is pretty, stoked. Like NAACP is very prolific.
I was about to say, I feel like
think it's-
NAACP is the.
The highest.
You gonna say elitist?
No, I wasn't gonna say highest. I was gonna say like, I was gonna say sorority terms. They the AKAs and BET is the deltas. They the
I
same,
don't
but
know
it's
how
like they
people
not
gonna
the
receive
same.
that.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean,
No, I mean I know you think you're AKA, so you gonna always feel like. But I'm saying from
No,
an
I
outside
just-
person,
it's just different. I wouldn't go sorority comparison.
from an outside person, who,
Yeah, because the
who
first
doesn't
wasn't
know.
always the best. In that case, no, we acknowledge this
Well, NAACP was before BET,
with the whole brown
so they
bag and
still.
everything. Like we, We acknowledge that part.
When did I say just because we're the first doesn't mean we're the best? What did I
No,
ever say
I didn't
that?
say you said that. I'm saying
Okay.
like what came with it though. Like it was
Or you
some,
talking about the paper bag test and
yeah,
all
paper
that?
bag test. Like I'm saying like that's not you probably wouldn't be looked at in the best of light. Understanding that was a part of your
What are we
organization.
talking about?
No,
Yeah, I don't know where you go.
that don't make sense.
But what are you
I'm
talking
saying
She's
just
saying, like,
because
how was that
something is the
relevant?
first don't.
Just because it was the first doesn't make it the best.
Yeah,
I wasn't saying it in that way. I was saying it in a way of like I
He was
think
just
like
being shady.
so from an outside person, right, who isn't in a sorority. I'm not in Greek life at all.
Mm-hmm.
From the way I see it, it's like they both give bad bitch, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one is like cutesy, classy, and then the other one is like chill.
Get their hands dirty.
Yeah, so that's how I see it. So I'm like, I feel like with the NAACP, it's cutesy, classy. Like it's quality. It's cutesy, classy, bad bitch. BET is bad bitch, but it's like chill. Like it's
it's your homegirl, the girl from around the way.
yeah, like BET is when I got my sneakers on, and
I
then
feel like that's the hip hop awards. I feel like BET has tried to take
Which
strides
has
towards the
been
classiness.
taken down.
we
Yeah, I
heard
feel
we
like
talked
that-
about
that
that
was
before.
That's
the-
crazy.
Aesthetic of it. But NAACP Awards has made a lot of major strides over the last few years. Like now, they're airing it on CBS and BET. Before, like they were jumping between networks. I think they were like on TV1 at one point.
Mhm.
So it was like they were trying to find a home for it to
Yeah.
make sense. But I feel like now people have understood the buy-in to the
Mhm.
community and everything in that aspect. So people take it more seriously because it actually airs live on CBS and BET.
I love
Because
that.
like Viacom owns BET now.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
Well, that was a good history lesson, man. Y'all ready to get this thing started?
Yeah,
Yeah.
What's up, man? How y'all feeling, man? What's up? How was the yo?
you said we don't yell no
I'm
more.
about to say.
No,
you
I
need
said
to-
I don't care to do it. Y'all want to yo?
We don't
We
yo no
following
more.
the leader.
What's up, man? How was y'all week, man? Talk to me. What's going on?
I had a pretty great week.
What was great about it?
It was productive.
You. Oh, okay.
Talk to me.
I know you was about to say that again. bro.
What? I forgot. Shit, my mind be moving a million. You know what I'm saying? A million miles a
Right.
second, for real.
Right.
All right, so I'm just saying, what's so good about the week? I mean,
And I said it was very productive.
oh, you made a lot of money.
That's not the only means of productivity. I was productive. I did a lot of things that was very productive. I had my first writing room session for the show that I'm producing and starring in. So that was
Wow.
fun. My son wasn't with me this week. That was the first time he hasn't been with me for a whole week in a very long time.
Oh, wow. That's what made your week productive? Oh, wow. That's crazy.
If I was going to complete
Yeah.
my thought,
Is it true?
it was an adjustment that also kind of caused me to stop going to the gym this week because I was just so like thrown off from my schedule. But I did get a lot of rest, so I'm not mad at it. But he's back.
Sleep is good.
Yeah, that's good. Oh,
Sleep's good.
you had that
Viral clip.
that clip that went viral?
Oh,
The
yes.
sketch that you did with Lou?
Mhm.
Ooh, that was funny. Hey.
How long did it take y'all to record that?
We
Sorry.
did that in pretty much one take.
That's
Yeah,
good.
That's
we were.
funny
I
as
think
hell.
the full thing was 23 minutes because of course we was laughing in between. Once we chopped it down, it was 19. We literally did it in one take.
It was funny.
Thank
I
you.
laughed at it.
It was funny
I did
because
too.
I had as soon as I seen it, I started saving because I'm finna do this. I was just gonna do it on my own. He literally called me 5 minutes after I saved. He was like, "I know you seen Cam and Lane." I was like, "I literally just saved this shit," and I literally went to his house that day. This nigga went to Greenbrier Mall to get the shit that he was wearing in the video. When I tell you, we do our own stunts. Like, we really get into it. And Shaq was there to kind of help record us and stuff. He laughing in the background and shit, but it was great.
What's Shaq? Who was Shaq?
His content partner.
Oh, I was like,
He does a lot of content with me. Not,
right.
Fuck
What's
that
not
shit.
Shaquille
Yeah,
O'Neal?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Shaquille
Why
O'Neal.
the fuck is Shaq
you know,
Shaq?
Shaquille O'Neal just sitting on the couch.
type plug
Laughing
y'all
at
got going on.
us.
What the hell?
Nah, he does a
Okay.
lot of content with him, yeah.
All right, Janae, what's up, man? How was your week, bro? Talk to me, Jordy.
It was good. I had a good week.
He's smiling from ear to ear. What the fuck is going on? God, she said, I had a great week.
Don't-
Oh,
You are
brother.
so
You ever seen,
aggravated.
You ever seen
This is our
that Bernie
segment.
Mac? That Bernie Mac stand up? He was
Teasing
teasing
me.
me. That was your smile.
Yeah, I had a good week. I was pretty much outside this week. I was,
You was outside.
yeah, a little bit.
Janae been outside every fucking day for the past month.
You was a damn lie. This week for sure.
Bro, you been outside every day.
What you do? Break it down.
Break it down, man. Go ahead.
What
Get
does the
into
week
it.
consist of?
Get into
Well,
it.
y'all know.
We
I don't know.
I told y'all we had this discussion last time, and y'all said don't do it.
Oh,
did
you
it.
talking about that? Oh, yeah,
I
that
did
shit.
it.
Janae is crazy.
and had a ball.
That's
I went to
good.
the Four Seasons.
Oh, period. Fun.
Had me a nice time, very relaxed.
Oh, so you got some cutty at the Four Seasons?
No, I didn't.
So why you go to the Four Seasons?
The spa. What?
The Four Seasons. I mean,
You
that's
gonna
a
squeeze some
that's
cutty
a
in there.
layup to ask
Always-
that though. The
No, it's
Four
not.
Seasons hotel, like, come on, bro.
I was just thinking staycation. Like,
and you want to get some cutty at us? I would hope.
Nah.
you can go on a staycation by
I
yourself.
went. I about to say I
too.
went there by myself. Day spa. You
Okay.
spend the
Like,
day at the
what?
spa. They got a fitness center. They
know
got
what? I need to
like
do
a whole.
that.
It'd be a
pool.
like a bunch of women walking around butt naked, right?
No,
Is that what you want?
I think you're thinking
is
about
the-
a Japanese.
I know,
bathhouse.
boy.
That's
The
JG.
bathhouse, right?
Oh,
This
I said, I heard about it.
it's
That's
the
my
Four
fault.
Seasons. They have robes. Put some clothes on. This is
Better than Lifetime, because I'd be like, God damn, bro. Like, this ain't college no more. Put a fucking robe.
They walk around slanging, slanging and langing and banging and banging. You like,
God
goddamn, nigga, I
damn,
ain't
bro.
know you
Put
had
some
that on
motherfucking
you.
clothes on. I'm my
She's
first time.
stupid.
I'm my first time playing college ball. And, like,
Crazy.
niggas is just really just comfortable. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck is going on?
So you don't walk around with it langing, langing?
Nah. Mm-mm.
Nah.
You modest.
I put a towel on.
Put a towel on.
Yeah.
Tight,
Yeah.
tight.
Yeah.
You know, y'all can still see stuff through them towels.
If you're doing it right. If you're well endowed.
you can still see a little wing, 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 wing through that towel. Yes.
Yeah, I'm
yes,
not
yes.
really looking.
Especially if
but-
it's a thin towel. It poked through.
Okay. So what else? You went to staycation at the Four Seasons?
It wasn't. I didn't stay the night. It's just. It's a day spa
She just
situation.
went to the
Got a
spa.
massage. Right.
Okay. That was it?
Yeah. I went out.
Hmm.
You know, dinners and
Ooh.
Yeah, I ain't really giving no pizzazz to the motherfucking week. Like, what the fuck?
you know. It's like, no, I'm just kidding. I didn't get no. I ain't right. Listen. Next week we'll dive into this week is we're treading lightly.
Ooh. Trial week.
What the fuck you do this
But-
week, bro? What's up, bro?
I ain't do nothing for real.
I got
just,
a man now.
You got a man?
Oh.
Like a boyfriend?
Sound like that.
I'm sorry.
Do you or do you not have a
Hold on,
boyfriend?
I gotta play
You
that.
know what? The same way you had a girl before, but she wasn't your girlfriend because
So
you didn't
y'all
ask her to be your
exclusive.
girlfriend.
So he
Y'all
actually.
did going steady.
So did he actually be his girl or not?
He did not ask me.
So you
We
don't
had
have a fucking man? What is we talking about?
What we say? She going steady.
right. The fuck? Don't
Okay.
do that because when your girl was like, my man, you had a problem.
Hold her on the court.
Niggas just be mad, bro.
Well, I can't be my man,
No, you
my man.
can. I'm just. I was because we've been there. You've been saying my man. So when you say I got a man, now I'm thinking something different. You've been told us this.
Yeah, but I cut everybody off. Like, it's just me and him.
Okay, cool.
We locked
See, that's
in.
the difference. See, like, hey, what? I
No,
didn't get
but
no
see,
context.
but you didn't ask for no difference. You said,
But I said,
did
I
I
was
ask
like,
you
so
be your
y'all,
girlfriend?
I said, so
You
y'all
ain't got no
exclusive.
man.
Okay, period. Y'all just going steady.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Like, come on now.
Alex, you ain't do nothing, man. Where your girl at, man? What the fuck you got going on?
I just been working, brother.
You keep talking about working.
I am.
Niggas work.
Niggas can't work now.
Look, I'm a man.
Gotta
Bills.
sustain myself, bro.
What you been working on?
Work, boo.
Now what you-
Everybody can't be in a relationship. Oh my
Boo.
God.
I've been working
Like,
too, so I'm just trying to figure out what you been working on.
You know, I just got back into the office, so we got some contract coming through.
ooh.
Trying to renegotiate some
So you
contracts.
do that all day, every day.
I mean, yeah.
Jay
I've been
basically
trying-
like,
That's
I
what
ain't
a
heard
job
from
is.
you, nigga. Where you
I've been
Where
working.
you
He know I've been
boy,
working.
boy, where you been?
He know I've been
I've been
working.
working. I mean, you have a 9 to 5. That's how it's curious.
It's not a 9 to 5. It's a
Work
whenever
to
to
work.
whenever they stop calling me. You know this better than anyone. I done complained about this, and Jay be like, "You just gotta do the work, bro. You just gotta."
You know he like to act like he don't know what's going on.
Jay knows.
It's all
But
in
then
that.
he act like he don't know what's going on, but then he be trying to pull it out of you because he really know what's going on. Like, nigga,
Exactly.
I'm chilling. I haven't dated in a little while. This no drinking in January.
you
has been
haven't
really good
dated,
for
so
me.
are you not talking to nobody?
I mean, I'll be texting people, but like I haven't gone on no
Tight
dates
shit,
in a minute.
tight shit.
Oh, you just a lazy motherfucker.
Call it what you want.
You been texting people, but you don't take them on dates, so you show interest. You just want them to text you.
I
And,
wouldn't even necessarily
Waste
say
their
it's
time.
He
showing.
said, I'm just
He
entertaining.
just having
I wouldn't even necessarily say
conversation.
I'm showing time.
It's just a little kiki.
Do y'all be
Just
on the
like-
phone? You
and
be
Kiki
chatting?
is expensive.
None of
really.
that. You
Kiki
just
ain't
be texting.
expensive. Kiki
I would have
free.
stopped texting your black
That's
ass.
what
But
I'm
it's not like
saying.
I'm showing interest like
It's
in that
something enough.
capacity.
It's an
Oh, so
interest
y'all
enough to
just
text
cool.
your ass.
Yeah, which is cool.
You just like, oh, but you
just having
attractive. So
conversations
I
and
mean,
stuff.
if I
So, all right, so you ain't been dating. You had a little phone sex lately?
No.
Ain't sexting or nothing?
this
Nothing.
nigga say he ain't even been on the
like
phone.
play with the little thing and play with it.
I've been on my
Hey, yo,
best
play with
behavior.
that thing right now.
Put the pussy lips so loud. I need $1,000 right now.
You ain't never play with it on the phone? Like, I need to see FaceTime, you know what I'm saying? No?
I ain't
They
done
got the
nothing.
little thing. Listen, they got the sticky thing to the phone now, right? So
The
you don't even
what?
need no tripod or nothing. It's like they got the bubbles, right? You know how like you put it in a tub, the little thing they had for the tub? They got that for the phone now. You can place it anywhere. You can put it on a fan. You feel me? Get creative, boom, and then just bust it open.
That's what you be doing.
You know what I mean? You know, like, you know.
Think about the creative masterclass. You gonna add that to your course?
I mean, you gotta be creative. Like, y'all ain't been busting open the phone? Because
don't
niggas
do
ain't getting no cutty. Niggas ain't. I'm confused. Like, yeah, niggas know I needs in this motherfucker.
Gotta log in, bro.
I'm asexual.
What that mean?
I'm asexual.
You only have sex with yourself?
You only need herself.
So somebody can watch.
That's not what asexual means.
What asexual mean?
There's no sex happening.
Oh.
I've never done that before.
You're a Buddhist. Buddhist.
You just keep saying different words. Like, what you talking about? Like, what?
He said there's got to be an explanation for
It's like, it
this.
just don't
I'm
make
trying to
sense.
understand. You gotta explain it to me like I'm 5. Like, you know what I'm saying?
We
Like,
try and it don't work.
I don't
still.
understand the A, B, C, D.
You say you be trying and it don't work still?
She's trying to explain it to me like I'm 5 and it
We,
don't
we
work.
try to explain it in different ways.
All right,
It's
so you ain't been
like-
dating. You've been working.
That's it, bro.
Oh,
Wait.
Jay,
Waking
what
up
you
early.
been doing?
you know, I've been working too. I be
Mhm.
doing a lot of working.
You been dating?
No, I don't date.
Oh, well, I mean, you've been courting?
You been going on dates though.
I haven't been courting yet. Not yet.
So what's the middle ground?
feel like-
What do you mean not
between
yet?
courting
What
and
is
dating?
it? What?
Because you
What?
know,
I'm
do
trying
you
to
know the
understand,
actual
like-
definition of courting?
Tell
With the
me,
intent.
please, because
It's really with the intent of marriage.
okay.
Yeah, so I think we gotta be intentional about these things. So like, my bad that I'm fucking literal.
Who said that?
So
I
that's
never knew
dating
that was
then.
a
If you're
real
not
thing.
courting, then you're
Yeah,
dating.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a little past that. That's why I
You
was saying.
in a relationship.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I am.
I mean, you know, you abandoned
So
me
courting-
last night for.
Courting means you're about to get married. I never
It's
knew that.
with the intention. Yeah, that's the difference between courting and dating. If you actually look it up.
Yep,
Wanna
you
go to
heard
the
me
next
right,
one?
Alex. Go ahead, say it again. Bring it up.
Abandoned you. She's about to piss me off.
first of all-
No, because
How did you find out about the situation?
I text Jay and I'm like, "Where you at?" He was like, "You have my location." Mind you, 10 minutes later, he gonna ask me where I'm at.
He told me that
You
too.
have my location, but I didn't be petty in return the energy. I just was
I
like,
wasn't trying to be
okay.
petty though. I
No,
promise you,
I said
swear.
no. I said I
Oh.
didn't be petty in return the
Oh.
energy. But I'm like, he like we at the Painted Pen. I'm like,
No, I wasn't ever there.
Nah, yeah.
Yeah, I was never there.
you was across the street.
No, I wasn't.
You was in the vicinity.
No,
I looked.
It was 20
you-
minutes away.
When
Yeah.
you said,
He was at the. I know
was
what
at
you're
the
talking
little,
about. It was
uh,
the painted something, but it wasn't the painted.
No, I was at somebody's crib. I was at somebody's apartment. We was
Oh.
pre-gaming.
Painted
well,
duck
either
or
way,
something.
this nigga gonna say, he said something. Well, you got the invite. Pull up. I'm like, I'm like, all right, bet. I'm on the way. He gonna text. I said, all right, bet. He gonna text me, where you at? I'm like, I'm at the house. I'm getting dressed. I'm about to leave. I leave. I'm in the car on the way. 9 minutes away, GPS says, and this nigga go, we about to leave.
No, he's about to leave to go to the Painted Pen. And then Paris wanted to go home. She wasn't really feeling it. And honestly, I mean, shit, shout out to a woman that don't want to be outside all the time, because that saved me some motherfucking money. So, but no, honestly, yeah, I was going to go. But we took so long at the apartment that it was chill. We was just chilling. So I was
So
like,
you
man.
just let her be on the way and not.
No, she got an invite outside of me, though. You bet. Because you wouldn't have asked me where I was at if you ain't get the invite, right? You ain't just randomly hit me. You got the invite, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. So, I'm not stupid. You know,
Yeah, but
I might not be the
asked him-
smartest one.
No, but I asked him because these are also people that I
Right,
know
like,
through
clearly,
him.
She wouldn't have went if you didn't go.
She
Right.
know Alex. She knows Seven. You know, like you would have.
Well, it was Seven's birthday. I know all of these people through
You know Marcus.
Jay. All of these people through you. Like
is
You're
the-
the connector.
but
you don't know the rules.
Let's go to it. Tell me the
So
rules.
here's
Oh,
the
we
thing.
having that core
Hey,
discussion
please,
now? Are
please.
we going to have the core
Hey,
discussion now?
Tell me the rules.
Okay, so
because
here
I
are the
know a rule that
Here are the rules.
nigga ain't hit me for that.
Here are the rules.
Who, me?
okay?
Yeah, you.
for
nigga.
what?
That ain't the only person you know through me.
Who I hit you what? With what? Are you talking about a young lady?
Yeah.
Piping hot.
You listen, you're welcome to come along. You can be in trouble if you like to.
But you never hit me and say, yo, can I hang out with? No.
We had a conversation. I asked you that.
After.
After what? We linked one time and then I asked you.
Okay, whatever.
How's your day?
Because at the
My
end of the
day is
day, if I
great.
link with somebody and I don't fuck with them and I don't like them, what's the point of
Oh,
bringing it
so
up?
that's the truth. You don't fuck with them.
Oh.
I don't fuck with who? No.
Seven, Marcus, and Alex.
No, it's not that I don't
Me?
fuck with them.
Why you say fuck me for? What the hell I
trying to be
get into
petty.
this shit? I'm trying to
He's trying to be petty. Now
Me?
that's the thing. Alex, I can kick it with Alex like without you.
So Alex was there.
But he wasn't there when I got there. But
I didn't know you were going, honestly. If I would have known.
Exactly. Because I'm not really in the what I'm trying to get Jay to understand is that Jay
I
does
left
this
her
shit.
hanging.
He always be like, you always invited. But then don't never tell me about nothing.
Like, come
so
on.
then I'm like, how am I invited if I don't
Like,
even know it exists?
You don't know? Like,
All right,
that's
so
really
in all
fucking
fairness,
foul.
I'm not even mad at that. In all fairness, I just be, bro, you see how my mind be going a million miles per second. So it's not that I'm not inviting you. I want you to come. Like, I be,
So this is the thing. So last night I was giving him the opportunity to invite me. Like, hey, where you at?
and I said, I
Because-
already knew what it was.
Because
I said, pull up.
and then I was like, all right, cool. So I'm like, cool, I'm coming. And then when I'm on my way, he goes, we ain't going.
And honestly,
I'm like,
in all fairness,
huh? No,
in
come.
in
and
all
he like,
fairness,
nah.
though, I wasn't even, when I said pull up, I wasn't saying pull up to Painted Pen, though.
Oh.
I was saying pull up on me.
But where were you at?
You had my location. I was at the apartment pre-gaming.
But whose apartment?
I don't know them people.
Why would you tell me to come there?
Man, you was with me. What's up, man?
Oh,
was
so
a great
you
time,
this
though.
was Seven's people's.
Yeah.
Okay, see, I didn't know all of that information.
Oh, yeah. I was just saying pull up on me. I'm like, you got my location, pull up.
He did extend that invitation.
I was say
to me
because
as
when
well.
I was saying when I got there, I was like you wasn't here when Seven got there. They got there late, and I was like, oh, you wasn't. I was like, Jay and them left, and he was like, couldn't have. He was just with me, and I'm like, huh? And then I was like, I don't know what the fuck going on.
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah. No, I
See
wasn't
y'all
there.
later.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I wasn't there.
It was a great time.
Y'all,
I ain't bold though.
y'all got it? Or
I'm dead.
this one? Because I wasn't invited anywhere. So.
Jamila, you.
I don't give a fuck. How about that?
It's
Painted
okay.
duck my ass.
You wouldn't.
You had to go
It's Painted
record.
Pen.
I don't give a damn. I like invitations, and I wouldn't have went. How about that?
Yeah, you wouldn't have. You was
Fuck
like, I
it.
don't know none of them people.
Jamila be inviting you out.
But
Hell
Chaz
no,
like,
Jamila
hey.
got the motion. She got the moves. She
What
never
motion I
ever
got?
told me about nothing.
What motion I got? I have no motion.
Yeah, let's
No
start getting her
bankroll.
together.
You
At
full
this
of
point,
shit.
you get an invite to something, you send it in that motherfucking group.
Where's,
Got it?
where's the last place I went that could have invited and I didn't?
That
Name
coulda
it.
invited
I
you.
actually don't want to have this conversation because it's very triggering for Jay.
I did
So
get
I'm gonna leave
invited
it-
to.
So
I
I'ma
did
just
get
sit this
invited
one
to
out.
some.
Thank
What was
I'm
it?
gonna sit this one out.
BMF.
I sent that to you. Oh, no.
It was a BMF like
yeah.
documentary or some shit like that. I didn't even go.
That didn't even answer my question.
No, I'm saying I was we talking about invites and shit.
I said,
She said,
when's the
when was
last
that
time
some she?
I was somewhere that I could have invited that I didn't?
I don't know,
Thank you.
but it could
But
have been
also,
yesterday. I
you're
also don't give a
very,
fuck that much.
very quiet, so we would never know. Thought you got away with that one.
All right, so our weeks was cool. I guess whatever.
That's what the title's gonna be. Invite only.
Invite only. Fuck is you talking about?
That's cool. I'm going to just start sending mine
Privately.
to the group.
Privately.
Because I send them to Jay. He don't even respond.
if
I'm
you're not
like,
getting
oh.
a posh, I don't know what to tell you. Sorry.
Yo, I like all the invites, bro. I really be just moving, bro.
Yeah.
Then I be having
I
my
think
daughter.
like
When I got my
being in the
daughter,
house.
I don't be seeing nothing.
And not only, I be getting like little cool events. So I be like, oh, look, Jay, you should go to this. And then he don't say nothing. I be like, oh.
Cause Janae invite me to something, and then I'll have my daughter. And I'm like, nigga, you the help. Like,
I didn't
she
know,
gonna invite
though.
me to something. She going to. I'm like, nigga,
But
I
it's
can't
a
go.
pro-
And see, we gotta choose one of
I
us.
didn't say I was going. I just be sending it to you sometimes, but you don't respond to even have the conversation to
Oh, so
know.
you don't even respond. You leave her on red. Huh. Interesting.
Is there something wrong with that
There
though? Like,
lies on it and
I feel like
everything.
I'll see a message and people like, why you got to read receipts on it? It's like, bro, because like I don't. It's not that I'm not trying to be rude, but why am I trying to hide it?
I have mine on as well. I never gave a fuck if I read it, but I'm the type of person. I'm also very responsive. So
I don't got no dog in this fight because I don't be responding. So I just gotta sit this one out. It's just
pitiful.
it is what it is. I'm working on it.
Work
Gotten better.
harder.
Gotten better.
See, I don't have red receipts on, but I am responsive. So you read receipts and responsive. No red receipts.
I still go back to
responsive.
my original
Red
thought.
receipts not responsive.
They see the message.
And neither,
So
neither.
any
Neither,
joint
neither.
that
Dark
says
30.
They don't
He in
see
red.
it.
That's a damn shame.
Come on, man. Let's get this conversation started, man. What's
I'm
going on?
just saying, bro.
Yeah, because I got somewhere to be.
Oh,
Oh, 3:30.
No, not 3:30. I should make it 3:30 since
3:30.
Otherwise, we
Piss
hit
me
till
off.
5 o'clock.
That's such a trigger point. 3:30.
Bro.
Got it.
3:30. That's the code. That's the
That's cold.
code word.
Just gonna get straight to the shits today.
Now what we talking about the
Ryan Davis thing.
yeah.
Mm.
You want to play the whole 4-minute clip?
No.
Mm-mm.
So Ryan Davis was on Club Shay Shay, and essentially was having a conversation with Shannon Sharp about how his relationship with his daughter has become a bit transactional over time.
Mm.
And essentially he was saying like when it started off, it was all love and everything, but as she has matured and grown, it has become more
She ain't
transactional
matured or
all the
grown.
time.
She's 10.
But no, as it has matured and grown, not her. But
Okay.
so I just wanted to play a clip to give y'all some context, and then we can have the discussion.
See what I can get out of here. And when she started looking at me as access to like material things,
You were ATM. Now all of a sudden you weren't dad, you were an ATM.
broke me. Broke me. Because it was like, I only want to be around him if I can get something out of him.
So let me ask you this: Did you sit down and have a conversation? How did you come to this realization that it was, yes, this is my child, but my child only wants to be around me because of what the access that she has to things, perfume, jewelry, clothes, makeup, whatever the case may be.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because it's like, it's heartbreaking because it's like, my daughter saved my life. I'm not a very motivated person. And when we went and got that ultrasound and they said it's a girl, I knew I couldn't be a mediocre man anymore. Because it would affect how she viewed men in general.
And then she'd have been okay with that.
And she would be okay with a mediocre man. And I worked harder than I ever worked in my life because of her. Like, she's my reason. And then for my reason, and she was a daddy's girl, big time. Oh, big time.
That's my oldest.
Yeah, she my oldest. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and
Did we get
to
past the part
watch
where,
that daddy's girl go
oh yeah, I
from,
was.
I just
Jamila,
wanna
you
be
done?
around him. I just want to touch him.
I heard the whole clip before, so
Oh yeah, you heard the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts, open forum.
You starting this time, Jamila. That way you get your point across first.
That was good.
I had two different thoughts when listening to this clip. The first thought is, I think it's really important for parents, as a parent, to remember that our kids are developing into adults. They're not adults. And so the expectations you have of adults should not be the same that you have for children, especially your children. And she's 10, so she's a baby, you know? And so, yes, I can understand how frustrating, maybe even sometimes dehumanizing it can be for your children to only ask for things and ask for things. But once you recognize that, like, that's very normal, and not only is it normal, that's kind of all that they can do for you as a child, which is be a child and ask for things. That's your duty as their parent to provide for them in all these different ways. And I think that instead of internalizing it for it being a transactional relationship, maybe he can use it as an opportunity to teach her about reciprocity in different ways and what that looks like for parent to child relationships versus other type of relationships. I can understand the hurt, but I also think having that conversation on a platform with Shay Shay, with the picture included of his daughter, knowing that she's 10, was a bit irresponsible. But again, you know, you talk about what you're comfortable talking about on whatever platform you feel like makes it the most sense. And I think it's still, you know, valid conversation. And I think also parents, I've seen a lot of parents come on the internet talking about their estranged relationships with their kids. And I just feel as though, unfortunately, and this may just be a biased take, it is what it is. I think that if you have an estranged relationship with your child, it is on you to fix. That's just a personal opinion. Like, people can disagree. And I understand that there are cases where the children have just gone rogue. I understand that there are cases out there. But I also understand that more likely than not, a child is going to love their parent and give grace to their parent. It's even through their parents being maybe not the best. I cannot tell you how many people I have seen who actually have really shitty parents, but still honor them so much and feel this need of like yearning for like this love for their parent and trying so hard to like still prove their worth to their parents and go out of their way to respect their parents, even though they've had shitty parents. So it's like, I don't know, like you're the parent. So if we got to an estranged relationship, you should figure out why. And that's just how I feel. The other thing that I didn't necessarily like agree with, but again, this is a personal opinion, whatever. He said something along the lines of, when I realized I was having a daughter, I knew that I needed to be like, you know, a better man, because if not, then she wasn't going to basically seek out good relationships in men. And the reason I personally don't, it's not that I don't agree with that statement. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that statement, but for me, I think that we overly think about our children's romantic relationships in the future versus just kind of making sure they're an equipped an adult. And I was like that, and I think that that's a common thing amongst parents, women and men alike, mothers and fathers alike. We're always like, I want you to be a good husband, I want you to be a good wife. And it's like, well, that's not the only thing that your kid can possibly be. Like, I think that we overly focus on that component of our kids when, and I think if we do that, you kind of miss a whole bunch of other things that you could be pouring into. So that's my little soapbox.
Okay. Alex, like, I don't have no kids. I'm Switzerland.
I'm just thinking. I mean, open forum.
What you think?
I think kind of like you always say, like it's different when you have a relationship from the beginning, right? And so I think like even him saying like, I think at some point he had mentioned how like he wasn't completely present from the beginning. And I think that makes a big difference. I look at how society is and we think about rich people, poor people, like everybody that when their dad isn't present, right? It's like the relationship is always different than a present dad. And so I always say this, rules without a relationship equals rebellion. And at the end of the day, if you don't have a relationship with somebody, you can't necessarily tell them what to do in a way in which they would respect it. So I'm pretty sure he wants to correct it, but I think it's difficult when you don't have that type of relationship. But like Jamila said, it is on the parent. Like at that point, you're the adult. You're the person with forward thinking. And we talking about a kid that's 10, 11 at most, right? Like you're nowhere near anything where anything is your responsibility just yet. The most we tell our kids at that point is get good grades, do your work, and don't get in trouble. Don't be disrespectful. But like you said, like it is somewhat transactional because it's like, one, if you're not here for me to sit with you and be cuddled up with you all the time, and you come and go as you please, and every blue moon you're here, yeah, I do want that. Can I have? Especially when I know, oh, my dad's a celebrity. Oh, my dad makes X amount of money. Like, I don't know what kid, even my kid asks me for money and we close as hell. We cuddle. We watch movies together. We do everything. But at the end of the day, he's still going to ask me for some shit.
Yeah, can I get some money?
Can I okay, because then I want to buy an Xbox. You have an Xbox. I want a new one. What?
Yeah.
Like, like at the end of the day, I think, you know, it doesn't make the relationship any less than because your kid is asking you for stuff. I think that when it comes to addressing or correcting the behavior, you have to build a relationship and you got to be intentional with it. So that looks like, if you are gone a lot, that looks like, oh, damn, I recognize that my relationship with my child is dwindling and it's not working. So I have to sacrifice something. Maybe I'm not going to make that much money this year because I'm going to go focus on my relationship with my kid and I'm going to rebuild that. But I don't think that a lot of people see that because we don't prioritize those things. Because it's like, I'm showing up day in and out. I work hard. I pay for this. I pay for that. Okay, cool. So if you work hard and you making so much money, give it to me. If the exchange for me not having you around is because you think you make so much money, give it to me. And I think that that's anybody's reality. I think we look at that. We like that in relationships with people. Like, my man busy all the time, but he paid them bills. If them bills not paid, we have a fucking problem. What you working so much for? Come sit down. But I think, you know, it also, I think the other parent also is responsible in some capacity, right? But that's where, you know, I think sometimes the emotional standpoint of things happen where it's like, it's not my job to make sure that you have a relationship with your kid. And a part of it is like, It kind of is a little, especially if you want, like you said, for your kid to just be a good person, better with their well-being in general. Them as a person, they need both of their parents. So it's like, yeah, if you have somebody that is present and they trying to be, encourage the relationship if you can, because I think that it'll serve your kid more than to just be like, I don't care and not pour into it and not assist with it. Now, I'm not saying go out of your way. Some people do too damn much. I felt like I did too much. And I felt like it didn't help the situation, but I did my best. But, you know, I do what I can. I send reminders. I'm like, hey, did you call? Did you reach out to? You know, and I do feel like up to a certain age, it's totally on the parent to continue to reach out and to make the efforts. But then I do feel like once a kid turns a certain age, like once you of age where it's like you 13, 14, 15, I ain't even gonna say 13, but I would say like 14, 15, when you high school age and you got a phone and you call your friends and you want to hang out and all the things, I feel like you can remind your kid to reach out to other people. I'm about to say, I know I do that all the time. Like I'm telling my son, did you call your grandmother? Like I always do that because I'm like, you need to have relationships with people who love and care about you.
Mhm.
And yes, your grandmother should be reaching out to you as well, which she does, but at the same time, she needs to know that you reciprocate as well because at the end of the day, you need her more than she needs you. You offspring.
Mhm.
So I think at that point, that's where it's like you start teaching them that. But I feel like in this instance, she's 10. That ain't never gonna register her. If she got a phone, she's using it for Roblox. She's
She is watching TikTok.
yeah,
okay?
like not. There's no relationship building right now, like
Yeah.
for her to understand that. They still in that where I'm still trying to make friends and figure out who I am, and so I don't know, but I definitely feel like it's so many factors, but I feel like it all starts with you as a parent. If you don't have that relationship, you need to figure out how to build that relationship, and it's on you. And if you don't, and you just complaining about it, sorry.
Yeah, no, when I watched it, I was it was triggering for me a little bit because I think it was I have a similar situation, but I think it's very much different as much as similar as it is. So when I seen it, first thing I was thinking is like, this is why like broken homes are bad, right? Because the fact that it's an option for a kid uh to have a thought or a viewpoint of you through the other lens, through the lens of another parent, like that's something that I told myself I would never have, like when it comes to my daughter, right? Like it's no option to be a present dad, right? Like one, because that's just what I want to do. I want to be present, but also like I'm not going to have you have an opinion of me based on what your mother thinks, right? You gonna have your own opinion of me. So when I seen it again, I have no idea if this is his perspective or his story, because we didn't get that much. But when I seen that's what I thought about, because it's like, man, one, like you said, this what happens when one, you have broken homes, and then two, you're not there from the beginning, right? You can't control your own narrative. And I'd be damned if anybody can control my narrative but me, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not gonna fuck with me, or if you think I'm this, or you wanna ask me for these things, you want it to be a materialistic thing, it's because you have that, and that's your experience of me, not because of what somebody said. And again, I'm not saying that his wife or his ex said anything about him. That's just my experience. Now, when I say it's similar, at the end of the day, we got to move past that, right? We already got a broken home. I wasn't there from the beginning, whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, when you have an option, you always got to do, like, it ain't no option. Like, when you have an option, it ain't no option. What I mean by that is, like, this is your biological daughter, right? So it's like, you don't have, like I said, like, we have similar, but it's not the same at all, right? I'm trying to say it without giving too much content, but y'all know, right? Y'all know my situation. So, like, with him, that's your biological daughter. Like, you have a responsibility to take care of her regardless. Ain't no option. You ain't just walk in and say, I want, no, like, that's your kid. So if she's this way or not, the fact that the door is open for you to be there, to be a parent, it shouldn't be no, oh, I'm a step back. Ain't like, I don't understand it. That's the part I don't understand. Like, ain't no option to it. So if she's this as a father, like, it's your job, it's your responsibility to teach her that, like, if this ain't right, or we don't move like this, or to teach her otherwise, right? Even if you are getting pulled back or restriction from the parent, that's your biological daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't no, you know what I'm saying? It ain't like this is something where she's controlling and everything. But even in that point, it's like, I don't know, people got their own, like, they got their own decision, like, when it's too much. And I understand that, right? Like, I feel like we living in a world where we have these boundaries now, like, we understand what they are.
You can't have boundaries when it come to your kids. Because my thing is like, your kids are going to fuck up. Like, your kids are going to make mistakes. That is the whole point of you did the same thing. Like, you're not perfect. None of us are perfect. And it's just like, regardless of that, it's also just, if you're not going to quit on anything in this world, you don't quit on yourself, and you can't quit on your kids. Like, that's your offspring. That is you. That is you. And it's just like, I feel like, I say this all the time, like, people will really find a way to accomplish a goal, to accomplish a dream, to figure out how to grind and get to where you want to go. You want to make a certain amount of money, this, and that. You figure it out and you work your motherfucking ass off. You should be doing the same thing for your kids. Like, I don't know. I can't accept no boundary. Oh, I tried my hot. Nigga, you should be dead then. To me, I tell people all the time, like, you can't, quitting to me is, as long as you in the game, you ain't failed. If you quit, you failed. That's the only way you fail. Because as long as you still got time and you still going, it's still a possibility to turn it around. When you put that time limit on it and time is up, then you're done. And that's when you fail. So the same thing comes with your kids, bro. Like, if you still alive and kicking, you still have the opportunity to fix it and mend it. So keep working. And if it don't work, keep working. And if it don't work, keep working. Because that is that is you. And you shouldn't be, if you find yourself going hard at anything else in life, you can fucking go hard at your relationship with your kid. And I don't care. And you should die trying. Everybody want to get rich or die trying. Be a parent or die trying.
Okay.
That was hard. One of the things that I was thinking about, though, when you're talking about it from an aspect of like another parent or something, right? But something when I watched that was just like the social status. I mean, the peer influence to a child, right? And for me, I just feel like kid. I mean, you kind of alluded to it before, but like the kid is on the short end of the stick because there's a lot of other things that are influencing him. You mentioned the TikTok. You mentioned now she's 10. She's in school. So
no, he said she homeschooled.
Oh, she's homeschooled. Okay. But, with TikTok and other things in that capacity, like you have influences that are forming your opinion of what relationship looks like. And that's really hard. And I feel like when we're having this conversation, there is a lot of nuance because we didn't have to deal with as many influences as we were growing up as this generation does. So like you have a lot of people that are watching everything on TikTok. My parents got me this. My parents did this. My parents did that. So now you're equating that transactional thing or that materialistic thing to what love looks like. And I feel like it's unfortunate because it falls on the kid without understanding. Because you're 10. You know what I'm saying? Your frontal lobe hasn't developed. So like you can't really understand. All you know is I want this thing. And this is something that is innately in you from a child, right? Because and it's crazy because you have established that as a parent in the beginning. If you need something, I got it. I'm hungry. You provide it for me.
Yeah.
So now it's like you're telling me you have created a transactional relationship in the beginning, and now it's like you don't want me to be transactional. That's kind of hard when I'm looking at it from the outside because now it's just enhanced because it's no longer the necessary things like food, shelter, and all of that stuff. Now it's like wants.
Yeah.
So
and if you're not in the home, it's kind of like, well, what? And this is not to diminish the relationship of a father who's not necessarily living in the home.
Yeah.
Or if your child doesn't live in that home like consistently, but like this is just like a real honest question. If your daughter does not live with you full time, at what capacity do you expect of a relationship to have with your daughter? You know what I mean? Like, yes, we can call, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Daddy, I need something.
Yeah,
I need that, Daddy.
Girl, not even that. I'm like, my son is 15, and even then, I'll be like, when we would be away for a short period of time, I'll be like, you ain't call me. He be like, Mom, we don't have nothing to talk about. You not we not peers. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
What you want me to say? He like, we call and we check on each other, and ask how our day was, what you do today, whatever. But he like, Mom, we not about to be sitting on this phone for an hour talking. I'm like, you know what? You're right.
I embrace this new age way of thinking because it definitely like educates you on where we went wrong coming up. But I do also appreciate the
way we were brought up.
Yeah, right. Like even with the ignorance that it came with, because yeah, like when I was coming up, like I was always taught to call my people, right? Like call your people, not just when you want something. And I think that did well for my character. You know what I'm saying? So it's like nowadays I hear so many people saying it ain't on the child. It's not the child responsibility to keep in touch with the adult. And I understand that for sure. But it's like, bro, like we gotta, where do we draw the line as like, bro, like you should be.
But the same way that you're in contact with that adult, right? Because now you're the adult. I'm an adult and this person is an adult. So if I have my child and let's say they are a little younger, right? And it's like, cool. If I talk to my mother or my grandmother, then I know to be like, oh, here, I give the phone to my son, like say, hey, like so that they know, one, you need to know who's in your life and who's a part of your unit, your community. And so it's like, even if I'm going to sit here and say that they're not responsible for being in contact or maintaining a relationship, then it's on me to maintain that relationship, because as the adult, I need to make sure that the connection is still there, because it's still important for them and their well-being. So as their parent, I'm looking at it like, I want to be a benefit and an asset to my child and the community that I put around them. But yeah, you also got to know that as a person, like, we talking about just people in general, life is about reciprocity. Like, nobody's going to keep pouring into an empty cup. Like, I'm not going to keep pouring into you and taking care of your people and all the things you got, and y'all don't even acknowledge me and don't even act like I exist.
Yeah.
So that's why. So at that point, you don't think some boundary can be set, because if you're not ensuring that my child calls me or ensuring the importance of my child calling me, and
I feel like that's different as a parent.
I was gonna say,
I wasn't talking about a parent. I was talking about like
yeah,
aunties and cousins and grandparents.
Yeah.
But when it comes to a parent, I feel like, no, I don't. It's not for me to make sure that your child calls you. You should be, if I have your child, you should be calling me like, hey, you should be checking in with me about how's your child doing. If you're not here, you don't know shit. They're a kid. They don't know how to express what's going on. How's my kid doing? Because you're going to have to talk to me about it anyway. They're doing okay. They doing this in school. They got this going on. They had a doctor's appointment, whatever I got to update you on. And then you should be like, cool, can I talk to them? Yeah, they're available before they go to bed. Let's have this conversation. And if you do that regularly, cool. But when you miss so much, if you're not present, it's no way that I should have to be like, hey, call your dad today. Call your dad today. Now, granted, I have done that. I feel like even like in this space, now that he's older, I just remind him like, hey, have you talked to your dad? And I only say that because I know that he wants that relationship. So because I know that it may slip his mind. And I know he might get a little busy or whatever. So I just check in like, hey, did you talk to your dad? Have you talked to your dad lately? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that like I'm just like trying to encourage it. I do, if that's what he wants, then I want that for him. But if he makes a decision like, no, actually, I don't care to reach out, then he just made the decision. He's old enough to make that decision, honestly. But that's why I said it becomes to a certain age group, right? Because before then, I'm at 10, I don't feel like at 10, you need to be reaching out to your kid, because they need to know that you care about them. They need to know that. Like, I don't think that me calling you, especially when I don't even know if you're available. I'm a kid. I ain't got no fucking life. I have no responsibilities. You call me, I got to sit my ass on this phone.
I was gonna say, there's no sense. It's hard for us to really truly be in the minds of children once you've grown out of being a child. And we as adults, we really, really have to remember that, and not even remember, because some people don't even recognize this as a thing, but children are an oppressed class of people. And I think if you think about that more often, then you'll stop expecting so much of them, for one. Because
why you say oppressed?
I was going to say, that's a very interesting choice of words.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have the same level of autonomy. They don't have the same level of rights. Now, granted, there are some things that it makes sense because they're under the control of parents, but still, by definition, they are an oppressed class.
But that's it. I think that's where that kind of threw me a bit. Only because I'm just thinking, I get what you're saying, because it's like they don't have the rights, they don't have this. But I think because we know, like, when it comes to just development in itself, they don't have the mental capacity to make decisions.
And that's valid, but it's still, think of it, and it's a weird comparison, but I think it'll make the most sense in this aspect. Children are an oppressed class group of people, similar to how disabled people are. So disabled people a lot of times rely on other people to be able to do certain things, depending on their level of disability. Same with children. It doesn't mean that you are oppressing your child necessarily. It just means that in this society that we have, children are an oppressed class group of people. That's just,
I think that confuses me, because what's oppressed me in that? Because
So I'm looking at the definition.
I knew your ass was gonna pull it up. That's why I said, because
I mean, and it means subject to harsh and authoritarian treatment. I think that's why when I say, for some, I would say like definitely harsh and authoritarian, sure. But I don't think that's the case for all. So to
Look
say
it
that
up.
it's a class. No, I mean this is what the
No, look it up. If how children are oppressed.
oh
Mm-hmm. How children are an oppressed class and group of people.
okay, y'all can continue the conversation while I look it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's something I'm just kind of confused. Just because it's just like, if let's say we do stick to the word oppress, right? And if we don't oppress them and we just allow them to do whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want, what does that look like for society?
That's not what I'm necessarily advocating for. Just to be
No,
clear.
yeah.
You
I'm
just
more
saying they
so,
can't like move on their own, right? Like it's
they
like
don't
they gotta.
have they don't have the
autonomy.
same level of autonomy as us.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want when we want. They can't. I think it's that simple,
and
right?
that's why I use the comparison of disabled folks, because of course a lot of their oppression comes from their disabilities
gotta depend on
amongst
people.
other people. Exactly. So that's why I use that as a one-to-one comparison. But did you want to?
Yeah, according to the study by Pitt, it says that essentially many scholars argue that children are an oppressed group due to their inherent vulnerability, dependency, and lack of power and systemic marginalization, experiencing exploitation, discrimination, and violation rights similar to recognized oppressive groups. One of the things that they said why children are considered oppressed, according to a study that came out from Pitt, they use powerless and dependency. It said children lack full and economic rights like voting and rely on adults for basic needs, placing them in disempowered positions. That's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that crazy though? I think that's.
I mean, but I never would have thought it's just the terminology of like
But it makes
oppressed.
sense,
You know,
though.
it does, but
And I was
like I
gonna
just
say,
would have never
so
thought about it from that standpoint.
The reason
That don't mean. I'm sorry,
Oppressed is a very negative word.
But it
That's
don't
why
have
it's
to-
like,
but even in that sense, it's just saying you don't have the right over yourself. I don't
right,
think
but
that.
so here's the thing. That's why I said I wanted to remind us that children are an oppressed group of people, because the framework in which we discuss children, often we forget that, and we forget how children do not have the same level of power dynamics as us in the way in which we talk about the things that children do, say,
and
or
the
whatever.
expectations.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so when yes, I understand that. Does a 5-year-old need the right to vote? No, I'm not advocating for that. I'm not advocating for all those things. However, the way in which the oppression of children affects them negatively a lot of times, and this is a simple example, is, for example, say a child was being neglected by their parent. There's a lot of hoops that they have to go through to be able to be seen, heard, and taken care of. It's not something as if, like, if I was beat up by my partner, I can go directly to the authorities and say, hey, this person hit me. Here's my black eye. Boom, boom. Versus children, there's different hoops that children have to go through to be able to be protected by the state.
I
right?
don't know if that's true anymore. Because, now they got everybody's damn near mandated reporter.
Yeah, but even still, those are different hoops. There's even a child going directly to this person. The first thing that person is going to do is go to their parent.
No, that's not what mandated reporters do. Like, it's not required for them. They're required to alert the authorities before they go to the
And the
parent.
authorities are going to go to the parents, though.
Yeah.
They're not going to just, you know what I'm saying? There still has to be, there's just different hoops that children have to go through to be able to be protected in certain instances. And again, it's not to say that that's necessarily a bad thing or not a thing that we should implement, but it's just something I think more people should be aware of. I think we forget that. We forget how little children have as far as access into different things. And I think if you keep that in mind and understand that, like, number one, this kid doesn't even have the full mental capacity as us, first and foremost. That's why I compared them to disabled people. And of course, there's different levels of disability for sure, but they don't have the same mental capacity as us. They don't have the same level of accessibility as us for certain things. They don't have the same level of power for us. They don't have the same level of autonomy sometimes. Sometimes they don't even have any autonomy, depending on their parents, right? And so if you have all of that in mind, it's I feel like you just have a better conversation when we're just discussing children.
Yeah. I think, I respect that. I think the way I see it is kind of like not negating what you're saying. Just more so saying, like, recognizing that outside of it, just looking at it like they're an oppressed people, just recognizing that they're little people who have never lived this and never had this experience before in life, right? And, like, you once were them, and like you said, it's hard to remember what it was like to be a kid at that time, so you probably don't operate in that space. But thinking about the fact that like they're just, you see them from little when they have no way of thinking, no no understanding, no brain work, no nothing, to see that you're pouring into them and growing them. I think that just you being able to be present and watch that is kind of like, it don't make sense to me to see children as adults in any way. Like to see them and think that like, oh, they should be able to do this or they could be able, it's like, nah, bro. It's so many things that we aren't able to do as adults that we struggle with. And if you're struggling with anything as an adult, you should know that the kid is struggling with something probably 5-10 times more over.
My
For
my
sure.
bad, y'all. But I'm
It's
eating
good?
too. Yeah, it's good. My thing is, you were saying something. I don't want to get in. I don't want to do the same thing we did last week.
What?
That was literally just you was bypassing that to get to a point. You were saying that.
No, I said my point. I was saying my point was I want us to just be mindful that children are an oppressed class or group of people, and because of that, we should just be mindful and like just kind of speaking to him, like he should be mindful of that. Like while you're expecting all these things, you probably shouldn't. Like keep that in the mind. And then I was just kind of giving. It was just also like a point for us just moving forward to like. Because I know a lot of people don't know that about the different studies that have come out about children being oppressed. I know a lot of people don't know that.
I've never heard that.
Yeah,
I've
no,
never
I
even
learned
thought
something
about
new
that.
today.
Because again, like I said, for me, oppressed automatically is a negative connotation. It's like
Well, it
being
is.
Yeah, I
In a
mean,
sense.
and it is. I don't want to like say that it's not. It's just there's nuance to that to children. Being
like
oppressed.
there's reasons why, and we have understanding as to why, because it's like, well, we know that you can't.
And I think because of their position in society, a lot of adults take advantage of that and further the oppression of children as well. People discount children all the time. Children aren't believed about a lot of things. People, even simple as like, no, my teacher said that's not it. Like, just little simple shit. Like because of that authority level, children are not believed a lot, which is insane. And so, yeah.
And I also think like just looking at this breakdown, something that we often are faced with is a Western bias. Like when we think about children from like a global scale and the implications and things that they have to deal with. Like one of the things that popped up here is the systemic vulnerability. So essentially it says they face disproportionate impacts from poverty, war, climate change, and exploitation. And when I think of places like Gaza, the places of like that have seen war, genocide, and things of that nature, a lot of the people that are impacted are children because they literally can't defend themselves. They can't fend for themselves. Like even when we look at it's sad to talk about it, but like the Holocaust as an example, I remember there was a point in time, and I don't know how true it was, but I was watching the Diary of Anne Frank, and like they were killing the children that were crying
because they couldn't
because
work
they couldn't.
I was gonna say some of them because they couldn't work.
They couldn't work, but then also it's like to hide when they were hiding. If a child was crying, to protect ourselves, we would have to let go of the kid. And
you're talking about as far as inside their own community.
Yeah,
okay,
and then also like just thinking about China at one point where they had the one child rule. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things that have happened from a global scale. So I never would have thought about it in that aspect, but now that you've mentioned brought that scope out nationally, you have seen the oppression of children. Like and it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, globally, not nationally.
It is. It's a mess. Children, the babies. Save the babies.
But that's why I always be like, I got to a point where like I'll see people like with their kids, and of course it's like I can see their kids operating and doing shit, and I'll be like, my kid will never. Or like, you need to gather them. But I got to a space where I had to realize like you can't judge people off their parenting, because at the end of the day, that's their kid. Like, however they come out, that's their business. They gonna be the person responsible for them, But I thought about that the other day because I was with somebody and I seen them with their kid, and I was like, okay, like, but I had to like take my hat off, like, stop. You can't judge. Like that ain't your kid, and they ain't gonna move how your kid was.
And having a kid will put you in such a perspective. I swear I don't even hear kids the same way I did before I had a kid. Like that's a real thing too. Like I feel like I was way more agitated by the sound of children before having children. And not in like a negative way, like, oh my God, kids shut up, but more so like you're more hyper aware to like crying. It's like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
shut that baby
get that
up.
baby.
That's why I said I don't even judge him.
Y'all seen that? Man? Did y'all see that video of that man on the plane?
I don't think
This
so.
guy, he was recording himself, and the guy was like, it was like a baby crying.
Oh, and he kept going off.
And they was like, they was like, you are yelling. He said, and so is the baby.
Yes. But it's like now, I'm like, man, if I hear a crying baby, I'm like, bless that parent. Because it's like, man, you don't even goddamn know.
Yeah.
It could be a myriad. Baby could have a whole ear infection. Ain't nothing you can do about that baby crying. Like, it's just so many things. So it's like, damn.
But see, that's different though. When it comes to babies, I'm like, can I help you? Like, let me.
Literally.
And I would, please help. But people be like, no.
Yeah. That's
okay.
And that's the one thing too that it's like, yeah. And I hate, this is completely going left field now, but you know how we do conversations.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like there's also this push of like, I hate kids in general, like
Oh,
sentiment.
yeah.
Which again, if I want to be very clear, I have no issue with people being child free by choice, not wanting to have children. Because if you feel like you don't want to have a child, then I don't think you should have a child, right? Because then you're not prepared for all the things. However, there is definitely a push of like anti-children, and I as I mentioned, the oppressiveness of my babies, you are actively being a little, I don't know the word just yet, but there's a definition for it, I'm sure. There's a word that describes what you're being that is very like strange to me. Like, why do you hate children? Like, I don't think that's normal. And I think that it's children, as we've talked about, them babies need protecting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you have this sentiment of you hate children, I think you are anti-community. I think you're anti-community if you hate children. Children are always going to be a part of our community, whether you have them or not. And I think that it's everybody's responsibility to look after kids. I really do think that. Like, to a certain extent, for sure. Like, it's not my job to raise your kid, of course. But, like, if I'm out in the community and I see some kids, you ever see, like, a random kid? Hold on now.
Where's your mother?
Like, that is everybody's responsibility. Like, I don't know what it is about everybody. That ain't my baby. That ain't my problem. So you are the problem.
Yeah.
That's
I don't like
100%
that.
accurate. I'm with that.
So they said, I don't know how true this is, but the hatred of children or intense dislike or aversion can be recognized like a phobia called pedophobia. Which
They need to change that because
it's close to pedophilia.
It almost sounds like it kind of sounds like you scared of pedophiles. Like maybe, but I guess because pedo is kid.
Yeah, so they're
But
saying
it just just sounds like that.
It's an irrational fear of babies or small children. So
interesting.
So basically, it's a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
I think, and that's the thing. I think that I don't even see it as like people really like hating kids. I think that people are just selfish. I think that's really what it is. I don't think it's a thing of like they really hate kids.
Some people do.
I know, but I like even like when we talk about like the social media shit, like I know they be like, y'all can't convince me that motherhood is this, and they love to do that. I think a lot of it is just selfishness. And my thing is, I'm not mad. Identify yourself. So I know exactly who you are. I better not ever see you with no motherfucking kids, and I don't trust you. But at the same time, also I feel like people change because I just seen somebody tweet. What's her name? Baby Tate.
Oh yeah. And
she was like, she said something about like y'all, what you said, like y'all pushing this, I hate kids rhetoric, whatever. And then somebody retweeted her and was like, oh, how much we forget where we come from or something like that. And she had made a post. And she had tweeted that said her album was gonna be called "Fuck Them Kids" or something like that. And it's like, well, I guess
I'm going down the rabbit hole
about this phobia.
So apparently, 1 in 10 American adults suffer from this phobia. And 1 in 5 teenagers.
There's plenty of people that like when they see kids, they be like, they tense up.
And it's like, to me, it is very similar to like having a disdain for an ethnic group of people. Like
that's kind of crazy.
You nigga, calm down.
Because what the hell could they do to you?
I will
feel
say
better?
like
That shit was amazing.
That nigga crushed.
I will say like I'd be scared to hold little babies like because they're so little.
Yeah.
But like.
Not me, I be pressed. Give me that little thing.
Of like, it's kind of like a phobia of like the mice and the elephant kind of analogy in a sense. That's kind of crazy. I didn't know that. So
I think in the sense, because like, you know how homophobia doesn't necessarily mean, it doesn't automatically or only mean the fear. It's also kind of like the hatred.
Yeah.
So I think when they're saying I don't think 1 in 10 people are terrified of children. I think 1 in 10 people more so hate children.
Yeah, that's what he said initially.
Because I know he was talking about like the fear aspect. I'm like, I think it's actually more so hate.
No, yeah. So it broke down to
pop my hip. Y'all heard it? It was really loud.
I heard it, but I didn't know that was your hip.
30 creeping on you.
Shit.
I heard it, but I didn't think it was. I thought maybe you popped the knuckle.
So y'all
Girl.
think that the Ryan Davis thing? Y'all think that like is solely on him? Is his responsibility to
I
build
forgot
that?
we was talking about that nigga. What's the question?
No, I was saying y'all think him building that relationship is solely on him.
As of now, yeah.
yeah, as of right
the baby
now.
is 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think that
And I think that this is the time to really get to it because
especially
by the
since
time she's
podcast
14, it's yes.
you better get to it before she get to that podcast.
Yeah, when
I'm
I
like,
seen it-
damn, daddy.
When I seen it, that's another thing I was thinking about. I was like, man, it's crazy because when is it okay to be transparent and not to be transparent? Because I feel like when I watch it, I'm like, damn, like she has to see this. You know what I'm saying? And as much as the people are looking at it negative, like I wonder how she feel about it. Is this a conversation that you had with her? Like
That's the thing. I was gonna say. So this is for me. I'm an advocate for addressing things in a better space. If
Mhm,
we're
that
in
makes
a
sense.
negative space right now and we don't have the best relationship, and then I hear you talking shit about me in a relationship, I'm walking further away from you, and I may not want to come back.
I agree.
If we were in a bad space, we healed, we talked about it, and we're in a better space, and then you go and talk about how we were in a bad space and we've healed and we've talked about it, then I can be like, we did go through that, and that shows a testimony to our relationship. But to just to be talking to bring it out to the forefront, I feel like it's kind of like
it adds more to
it
I laugh
does,
because
and I
like,
feel like it makes
She's 10.
it makes him look more guilty.
Yeah.
That's
You
exactly what I was thinking.
What'd
I'm
he
like,
say?
damn. There's a lot of pressure on a 10-year-old,
I laugh
though.
because
I'm
like
just
a
thinking-
10-year-old is not processing it like that.
No,
that's
but I'm
tough,
just saying in
though.
I was
general.
gonna say, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, as far as public figures are
Yeah.
concerned, because obviously this is what we're talking about, like being
Mhm.
transparent on like a public platform. If you're smart, you would wait till something is wrapped and tied tight before you start to address it. And even then, you should be careful. For me, my personal rule of thumb as far as transparency, I'm as transparent as printer paper. Meaning I'm really not. Like, I can discuss things that I've gone through, but I don't give intimate details about my life at all because I kind of don't really want it to be up for discussion. Also, I give certain things about my parenting, but I don't showcase my parenting. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the question comes up, I can answer it, but I'm not giving intimate details about the relationship with my child's father. I'm not giving intimate details about the things in which I go through as far as dating. I'd never talk about that because I'm currently doing it. I'm in it right now. Why would I be talking? That's just my personal thing. I don't want you to be telling me, or I don't want the internet to be throwing. So whatever you're comfortable with the internet discussing is something that you should be comfortable with discussing. And I don't think that he was necessarily comfortable discussing that in the way that he thought he was because he felt the need to come do a follow-up video.
I
And
didn't
the
even
moment
see
you
the
have,
follow-up.
yeah, he was just insinuating that everybody's stupid because they didn't listen to the full clip and kind of just adding more context. And I'm like, I mean, but you know, you're responsible for what you put out there. And so
Yeah.
I think transparency is great, but like transparency doesn't also mean giving all the details. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can dictate how transparent you are about what too. You know what I mean?
No, transparency does mean that. I just think that when it comes to those platforms, you can be honest and don't have to be transparent. I think you should be transparent with your people. But I think when it comes to the public, it's like I only need to give you so much because y'all are not a part of my life. You don't get to be a part of certain things. So why would I give you everything? Like,
Yeah.
and unless it's a thing of like, it's supposed to, you know, be something I'm building on, or like I'm working with my fans or supporters in that regard. Like maybe he was doing a father's type of thing, and it's like I'm building this relationship with my daughter, so I want to communicate this with. But if there's no benefit to that, what is the point?
Yeah,
Just
and
to
maybe
share
you
it?
could, and maybe you can like change the wording so that it's like kind of how you were talking about your situation, but you didn't really give too many details. You know, maybe he could have done something like that. You know, like being a celebrity is hard. You know, with kids, it's our relationship is consistently evolving, and that's something that I as a parent am aware of. Like, you're giving us something without giving us the whole thing. Like, you know what I mean?
Do y'all think we like we're being too hard of it because it's a man? Like if a woman was to come out and say the same thing, do you think we'd be as
I think
hard?
if a woman that came out, it would be much worse. I think that parenting is always held to a higher standard for
Absolutely.
women. So if a woman
Absolutely.
came out and said this,
You don't think
it
we'd
would
be more
like,
understanding? Like, damn, like that's
No, because like she said, we have data. When women do things specifically about parenting, women do not get the same grace as men, because with men it's kind of like, well, at least he's there. He wants a relationship with his baby.
What they say? They said they be like, "Oh, you take your kid to school. You go to
Like-
the PTA. You go to the games. You're such an amazing father."
And now,
But
granted,
when
I
a
don't
woman
think
does
I
it,
was
it's
hard
like
on
you're a
him.
mom. You're supposed to.
Yeah. And I don't think I was hard on him. I think I was just kind of like saying, like, I get it. I understand your sentiment, but you also need to remember that she's 10. And if you want it to be different, then you're going to have to do a little bit something different, Papa.
A lot of something different because it is on you at that point. She's only
Yeah.
10.
So how do you, I guess for the sake of a 1% conversation, like how do you deter a transactional relationship from your own experiences?
Be there, presence. I think.
Yeah, I'm about to say that. Well, and I think so. I
And then
think even with, go ahead.
My bad. And I would also say, just understanding that, like, when they get up into that preteen age, it's just gonna happen. Like, honestly, because again, it's not even a parenting thing. It's about who they see, what they seeing outside, their friends group, right? They might not even want things. They probably just want it because their friends talk about it.
Yeah.
It's like a part of that just come with the territory. Like, yeah, a part of that just come with the territory.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're, as an adult, like, if you want something, you get it. You don't have to ask for permission for anybody for the most part, right? Like,
Mhm.
if you want to do something, you do it. Kids don't have, like we already talked about, kids ain't got no money. They don't got no nothing. They just
Mhm.
there. So it's like, damn, nigga, if I want a Bratz doll, I'm going to have to ask the people who can get me that Bratz doll. So I think if you just think about that, it's not necessarily they just view you as an ATM. It's just you're their only means. You know
I
what
guess
I'm
because
saying?
he said that she doesn't want to spend time with him unless he's buying her something.
Mhm.
That sounds like literally just like a motherfucking preteen. Well, I don't know about 10
Yeah.
years old, but I know teenagers.
I was about to say that even like I could be like, I'm about to go to the store. You want to come with me? You gonna buy me something? That's the first
And it's
response I
like-
get. And I'm like, no, nigga. He be like, then no, nigga.
Yeah. Here's
I don't what I
what-
need to come for.
This is what I will say. This is honest, true advice coming from a young lady who has a dad. I would say you should take your daughter out, you know, maybe go to a movie. What does she like to do? Do you know what she likes to do? Maybe you should ask her, what do you like to do? What type of things are you into? Maybe she's into ice skating. Take her to see Disney on Ice, you know, or whatever the kids are into these days. Yes, you're still kind of spending a little bit of money, but you're getting both ends, right? You're giving her something that she wants because, again, it's not just about you. It's about that other part of the relationship too. So yes, give her something, but then you get the other end, which is building on that relationship
And that quality
and in
time.
that quality time, asking her questions, because people can sense when you don't really care about what they got going on, even as a 10-year-old. I'm thinking back to 10. This nigga, you don't care about what I want. You don't care. You don't know that I love Michael Jackson and Bratz dolls. You don't even know that. Like,
You
ask
love Michael
yourself-
Jackson?
That's my love and joy.
Oh,
Yes, that's my love and joy on my life. But like, do you know about your kid? Like, you have to ask these questions. And that's what I think you should do. And do it often. Don't do it just once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
And don't make the conversations about your relationship. Oh my God. If you are in a strange relationship, or if you're just in a weird period of a relationship with your kid, don't bring that up every time y'all talk. I'm telling you from experience, ew, I don't want to talk about this. Like, yuck. Like, just have a nice conversation.
Mhm.
Make some jokes. Like, make some Coke floats.
tell them something about you.
You know what
I
I'm
was about to
saying?
say it's building a
Exactly.
relationship. I think that like you said, it's always gonna be transactional. I think a big part of one thing I learned just about people is that we're always looking at the person and saying, I want to change this about you. I want you to change this. I don't like this about you. And what we don't realize is that you can't control nobody but you.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, if something makes you unhappy or uncomfortable or whatever the situation is, but you don't like something about somebody else, you really need to look inward. What can you do about you that can either, one, change how you feel in this space, or two, help you change the situation so that they can learn to change? And so a lot of times we're constantly having the same conversation, pointing the finger, being negative and being angry and this and that. And if you did it 4 or 5 times, it's not making a difference. It's not going to change. So when do you look intrinsically and say, okay, what can I do as a person? Because I'm the only thing that I can control. And so with that, I think the transactional stuff like that is going to be that. But you won't feel like it's transactional. Like for me, I don't feel like my relationship with my kid is transactional because we have a relationship. And I know that he needs more from me than just that. Yeah, he do ask for ridiculous shit. Yeah, he do ask for money. Yeah, he do ask me to go take him all the time. I feel like my life is revolving around him. Like whatever he want to do, I feel like that's what the fuck I'm doing every day. But I also, like I said, we watch movies together. We might lay in the bed together. When we drive and we talk about, he tell me about who he dating, and we have a relationship. And sometimes I'll start conversations where I'm talking about me. So then he'll start talking about him. It's just, again, I feel like as the adult who knows what relationships look like, it's up to you to direct it and create it. You got to cultivate it, because if you don't, they'll continue to just get what they need. And they don't know what they need either. So
kind of segmented. I mean, did you have something
Segue.
else? I was going to say, yeah.
I think you're just a caretaker.
Huh?
she said, 'cause then
Pivoting,
you're just a
but
caretaker.
still along the lines of like a parenting conversation. Another conversation that we wanted to have was about the Waco parent that was caught on Ring camera beating
Did we
his
say
son.
we wanted to have that conversation?
I mean, somebody sent it to y'all.
Oh, I sent it. I just sent it.
But I just thought it was, well, did y'all want to have the conversation? Because we had an interesting perspective on it.
That's fine.
But essentially, there was a viral video that went out of this man that was viciously beating his child. 29-year-old Paul Thames was arrested and charged after turning himself in to Waco police following the viral video. In the footage, you could see him, again, violently beating his 3-year-old son.
Cringy.
And he's currently being held on $200,000 bond. When I saw the video, it was extremely disheartening. Like, first, like, there's no justification for any of that, but it was just kind of like I went down a rabbit hole just thinking of the psychology of a person that could do that. And I think, something that you had said that was interesting was like, he needs to be in jail. But
That ain't what she said.
what you say?
She said he needs to die.
Oh yeah,
You know,
sorry.
I'm a little hyperbolic sometimes.
Sorry.
I just okay.
Needs to
She
die.
said,
But
I
I mean,
ain't say
I
that.
just really like in my mind, and not to try to make it like a too serious conversation, but just really wanted to unpack like the psychology of a person that could do that. So I mean, I just kind of was interested, just was wondering like why you, obviously for obvious reasons, you sent that to the chat, but just your perspective on that, because I know that you have had your stance on parenting and gentle parenting and everything in that capacity, but when you see something like that,
Man, shit like that is life altering for kids. It just is. And it's like sometimes there's not much that can be done to ever change that too. You know what I mean? That level of abuse is like, first of all, you could have killed that baby because it looked like he was choking him out a little bit too. You could have seriously injured or killed that baby. And it's just heartbreaking because a lot of people get so angry and frustrated at children. And trust me, I get it. Kids be bad as shit sometimes. Kids are rambunctious. They do a lot. Sometimes they disobey you. But a 3-year-old does not have the intent to be evil. You know what I'm saying? They're not trying to necessarily invoke all of that. Like, obviously we don't know exactly what led up to that, but to me, I don't really care. I don't think that there was anything that could justify you doing that much to a baby. But for the sake of grace and empathy for a moment, because that's what I'm practicing more and more these days, and it's so hard. But I know that there is a thing called psychosis, and that's probably the only not justification, but I guess explanation that can possibly make sense for someone getting into there. And because I know that there is a such thing as postpartum psychosis for women who've birthed children that have led to them literally killing their children, which I don't agree with or justify at all, but I know it's a real psychological thing, and it's a real thing. And it's not to say that men suffer from postpartum psychosis. You've had to partum to post, but I do think that a lot of circumstances can lead to psychosis. A lot of circumstances can lead to you doing things that are, out of character or whatever, right? And again, I don't know this nigga. I don't know what his character is to say whether it's in or out of character. But when you are in a stressful situation and there are additives from every which way and angle, people do really ridiculous things. So that was my grace and my empathy.
Yeah, when I seen it, I was just like, damn. The first thing I was thinking, I was like, man, this is fucked up. But then I was like, man, like you said, I'm like, I understand, man, because like kids can be bad as hell, but it's like, I just thought he needed help. Like that's the first thing I thought about. Like and I'm reading the messages in the comments on Twitter, and I'm like, damn, like I don't want to be the one that's not reading the room or that's not going with everybody else. But it's like I can't help but how I think. And when the first thing I thought about was like, damn, man, this nigga need help. Cause I see somebody that's trying to be there, right? But he just don't have he's not equipped with the tools to be there, like mindset. And I look at it and I'm like, man, I was fortunate and I was blessed to be able to learn things and learn how to control my emotions at a young age. And I still might have little outbursts, but like I can confidently say I've never done shit like that, and I probably never will, right? But when I see him, it makes me understand how fortunate I am, because I do think it's fortunate to be able to like come from certain environments and learn how to get mitigate your frustration. So when I seen it, it was just sad, man, because for the kid and the adult, in my opinion, I'm like, damn, like nobody should have to go through this. And I just don't think an adult should ever like get to a point where he's doing that to a 3-year-old. But then on the other end, if I'm being honest, I think Alex, you said it's sad, but I've like seen worse. I feel like I've gone through worse. Like when I see he was spanking a kid, like, man, we make jokes about the shit we went through, like go get the switch off the tree. Like I've actually been through that, like getting straight out the bathtub, getting 2 leather belts whooping, right? Like getting punched. Like, so when I see it, I'm like, damn, this is, and of course, when we see it on the internet, it makes it 10 times worse. But it's like, I've seen this before, right? And it's like, man, on one end, it's like, man, shout out to us for how much we've grown. But also, I think we should have grace for those who need help, because I think you need help. Like, in my opinion, I'm big on, like, niggas being in their kids' life. Like, that's something that I probably can't have grace to, or that's just my non-negotiable, right? So when I see a man there, like, obviously he's present, he's trying, he just don't have, he don't have the mental capacity to be there in those type of situations. And I understand that because I've been put in situations where my kid is just, I'm like, what the fuck, bro? And I just gotta like, I have to like sit down and just let her cry because it's so frustrating. I just gotta like really like collect my thoughts, and I empathize with somebody who isn't as mature. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know someone say you probably shouldn't be a parent, but I don't know. Like, I wasn't trying to like just throw him away, and I feel like the comments was like, man, fuck this nigga, he need to be killed. You know, I'm like, damn, like shit. Like, what about helping the nigga? Like, that's when first I thought, like, this nigga need help. That's what I was thinking. But
help the bear.
I was gonna say, I think that's where I love that you know you have some humanity about you and you can see it in that way. I think the hard part is imagining that being your kid, or imagining that being somebody that you love and care for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know that kid and I felt bad for him, right?
Yeah.
But if this was somebody who was mine, and when I say was mine, not just my kid, but even your kid, you know, somebody that's in my vicinity that I'm close to, that I care about, dead.
That's
like I immediately, I'm like, I'm not even gonna hold you. When I see like certain things, I'm like, I'm about to call my father. But I be careful with that, because we did talk about how, you know, when men come to the rescue, they gonna OD. So I don't call my dad up. But I know that in those instances, if that was my kid, my father I'll go to jail. What we doing?
And part of it, like when I say he need help, right? I think I look at things on like sometimes as a broad scale, because I do think he deserves whatever come with him, right? But that also helps the next person, in my opinion, right? So let's say let's just for the shits and giggles, right? Let's say somebody does hurt him to the point where he loses his life, right? I think
the kid,
the person,
no,
the parent,
guy.
I think, and this might be extreme, right?
But that is his kid too, so that's
yeah.
let's
Say it's this super extreme. I'm just saying for the sake of conversation, it's super extreme where the whole world sees it, right? I think that's a big enough lesson for somebody that might not be as mature to learn from. You know what I'm saying? I look at all of it like, man, sometimes you need to see something to be able to learn from it. Like, oh shit. But at the end of the day, I don't want to ever, like, I'm never above anything or anybody, right? Yeah. So when I look at it, I'm like, damn. Like, I just think it's fucked up, right? And I know it's more, I don't think he's the only person in the world that's doing it. Yeah. I don't think he's the only. Yeah, you feel me? So it's like, I think I'm looking at it like, man, how can we eliminate this
from being an issue?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Forward. And you know what the thing about it is, kind of like what Jamila saying, and like you were saying, I think it is a psychological thing, because maybe it is psychosis, maybe it is a moment of, I don't know, but I feel like the people who operate in that space, it's not like they don't know that this is a bad thing. It's not like they don't, it ain't like they wake up every day and be beating the shit out of people every day. You know what I mean? Same thing with people who are just like in domestic relationships, right? Or they're abusive to other people. You don't, every day you don't just go and beat somebody up just for the fuck of it, just because it's what you do. It, a lot of times it's an escalation, it's a moment or whatever, and it's like you have a weak point. And so I think even seeing somebody, I don't know how many times we've seen on a broader scale somebody get killed over something like this, you know, and it's like, I don't think that it makes it, I don't think that it deters people from it, because I don't feel like it's something that, it's not a premeditated thing.
Yeah.
So I don't think that it's something that they necessarily like sit and think through, like, I'm gonna beat
It
this
just
little boy
happens, like,
ass
it's like-
today.
Yeah, most cases of violence in general are definitely like in the moment things.
And unfortunately, our system is very reactive and not proactive. So what it is something has to happen
for you
for
even-
them to even assist and say, oh, well, let's make sure that you learn this for this kid, as opposed to you show signs of issues and we
But
need to address it.
There are definitely signs for
Yes.
just abusive people in general.
Mm-hmm.
And when people, we need to be more, if we're talking about like solution basis, right? We're talking
Yeah.
about like solutions. How do we move forward? How can we prevent this from happening again? It's two different things that's happening. Number one, we already recognize the cycle of abuse. The majority of people who abuse others have been abused themselves in some way, capacity, or another, right? And so that's that cycle of abuse that continues on. And that's, I'm sure there's plenty of studies about that. So we need to figure out a way to kind of break those links, but also be accountable for ourselves. If you know you have been abused in some way, shape, or form, before you get to the place of doing that to somebody else, or you think that you're not capable of doing that to somebody else, you need to seek out therapy so that you can, you know, at least try to uncover that.
Yeah.
There needs to be some sort of something right there. And the other part of it is acknowledging those signs.
But what about the people who don't recognize that it was necessarily a bad thing? Because, you know, a lot of people do learn, like, when you are abused, you do learn that this is how you're loved.
Or
You
like,
talking about like Stockholm syndrome in a sense?
Not necessarily Stockholm syndrome, but like in that instance, like, kind of like Jay said, like, this is how I was raised, right? And I came out this way, and I feel like I turned out great. So then it's like, I know that
it
you
is a
beat me
weird
because you
thing,
love me.
'cause-
You beat me because you wanted me to do better, not because you wanted to harm me necessarily. So it's like the mentality that's created around it.
I was gonna say that we as a society have to just progress, and I think we have been progressing, right? The things that our parents experience is not the things that we experience, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And of course, conversations like this are helpful as well, because it kind of sparks different ideas within other people. But this notion that you beat your kids because you love them is just not true, right? You beat your kids because you was impatient, and you beat them and you felt like that was going to correct their behavior. But it wasn't because you love them, right? That doesn't really even make sense to me. And I think if we acknowledge that more so, then we can come to an understanding, because you don't beat your spouse because you love them. So why would you beat your kid because you love them? Those two things don't equate.
it's a
to me.
sense of control.
I was about to say, but when I say that, I say that to say, like, in terms of people communicating it that way, right? In terms of like, but not in a way of, yes, control, but more so like, my spouse, we're on the same level playing field, right? So if you're equal, I'm not raising you up. I'm not teaching you how to be a person. When it comes to your kid, you're like, I'm trying to teach you how to, once you get older, how you live in this world. So if I'm correcting your behavior and I feel like this is how I have to correct you, and I'm doing this and I'm correcting you because I care for you and because I love you and I want you to be a better person, go out in this world and not continue to make these mistakes. So the way that it is perpetuated or communicated sometimes is in a way of, you did a wrong, you receive your punishment, so that way you can learn a lesson.
Right.
And I'm teaching you this because I love you. You get what I'm saying? So I'm saying that to say that a lot of people have this way of thinking because that's how it's been passed on in terms of just that understanding of it all.
I
For sure.
I don't think it should be on the parent. Well, I mean, of course it should be on the parent. I just don't think that's real. I don't think we can rely on a person to look at themselves and be like, well, I've been abused, so I should get help for this. I don't think. Like,
and
I
that's
don't,
what I was saying. I think that's why I was saying that's the
It-
disconnect.
It depends. Like, there's different levels of things, right? Like, for me, I was beaten, right? Like most black kids, I got whoopings and all the things, right? And I think that it also had negative impacts on me.
So did you go get therapy before you had your child to make sure that you didn't pass that on?
Not because I was having a child. I just sought out therapy for my own self. I recognized that it would negatively affect me way before I had my son or pregnant or anything. And I wanted to address all these other things, right? But I knew well before therapy that I wasn't going to do this to my kid because I'm like, I didn't like that it was done to me. And some people even had that notion, but because of the psychological aspect of it, they still end up on that path.
But that's why I say I don't think it should be solely on the parent, only because some people, like you said, you knew before you even had therapy, before you had a kid, that you wasn't going to do that to your kid, right? I think people always see themselves better than what the outside person see, right? Like they always think they're better than what the reality is. And what I mean by that is like somebody get beat, they automatically, well, not everybody, but I would assume that they would be like, man, I'm not going to do that to my kid until they be in a position to see that they only react and how their parent react. And I go to like the hospitals because, and it's something that was so told to me that I really didn't understand until I had a kid. It's like, it ain't like the doctors give you no blueprint when you leave the hospital, right? Like you have your kid, have a good day, you know what I'm saying? You want to breastfeed or something like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that, it's no real questions. They're not asking you, have you been through this? Have you been through that? They're not giving us resources for it. So I think it should be more of a system thing, because if these things are put in place, it's just like policing, right? We don't have no background, background check of criminal, but like real like mental health background of like what you've been through, how you react in certain situations when it comes to police. And that's why we see so many of them killing our people, because they don't understand how to react in those moments. Same with parenting. You've never been a parent before, and all you know is what you've been taught. So when you get into this situation when your back is against the wall, you only know how to react of what was taught to you. So I think it should be more of a system thing, whereas like this is mandatory, where if you have been abused, right, and if you have been in these situations, like this is how you react to it.
But then you got to
this is the
report
resources.
it, because everybody don't see it as abuse.
But at least let's start somewhere.
It's a couple of different things, and that was like, and I agree. We definitely need more system, but more so we need more. Parents need resources, and so a lot of the reasons that you see a lot of abuse, physical abuse happening to children in poverty is because those parents are also having these systemic issues, right? And so there's things are connected. Exactly, right? And so parents need resources. Parents need community. All of these things can help facilitate better upbringings for children and parents all around. But also, there is a community aspect of responsibility. Like I said, we're all responsible for children, whether it's your kid or not, right? And the same can be said when it comes to dealing with children with abuse. That's why we have things like mandated reporters, but that hasn't always been a thing. That had to become a thing because wasn't nobody giving a damn about these kids, right? And so as a society, as we continue to progress, we need to do more things to progress. So mandated report is great, but also as we communicate about things that are appropriate and not appropriate, I distinctly remember conversations being had on the internet about whooping children and people being almost excited to beat their kids that they don't have yet. Like I've seen that happen. So, man, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of my kids. You ever, man? It's just like that framework of thinking. I think is strange too. But I recognize that like sometimes parents hit their kids, and I don't think that just because you hit your kid one time you're a bad parent. I don't think that. I understand that it's very difficult to not do that sometimes. I get that. But I think that the way in which we talk about physical punishment for our kids should not be talked at as like a thing that we anticipate and we are excited to do. And that is a real thing that I've seen happen. Like, man, like it may not have been that video, but say it's a video of a dad whipping their kid with a belt. If it was just that, the comments would have been filled with, I don't see nothing wrong. Exactly. That's it. You don't need, that's exactly what we need to be doing. And it's like,
I don't think so. You know, it's funny because I think we've come to a space or a era in life where we have more understanding, right? And that's why I say I appreciate today's time, but also I still embrace yesterday's time, because I think if you see a video with somebody whipping with a belt, it will be more people saying that's unnecessary. You shouldn't be doing that.
Not from what I've seen.
So I'm not saying that it wouldn't be on the other side of it, but I feel like I would see more today than I would have yesterday's time.
Yeah.
And I say that because, but I was gonna ask a question. I was gonna ask a question. Where do we draw the line? Because in one sense, you have like people that's embracing it, right? But we also like, how do we give ourselves room to get here? Because I think this is an understanding of now. Right, like we're just starting to understand this, and this creates so many different cultures. Even when we talk about rape culture, we talk about like a lot of these things were created by us, right? So it's like, and then what happens is once we get the information that is wrong, we want to punish them right now. When it's like, bro, we're just coming, right? Yeah, like let's adjust. Like we're just getting this information now when this was just okay. And I'm not saying that it was, because I'm not trying to like justify it. But I want to look at the reality of it. Like,
Yeah.
we were just having these conversations. It was just so cool. But now we got podcasts, everything on camera. Now all of a sudden y'all want to hide y'all hands. Like, no, like let's not embrace it in a good way, but like let's acknowledge that this is wrong, and then we took a part of this so we can make the strides. But it's same with, that's why I said same with the rape culture conversation. But it's like a lot of us can't have that conversation because we're scared with what happens. But and if you never can have the conversation of maybe you taking a part of it sometime, then we can never go forward as a culture. So I'm like, where do we draw that line of like, okay, I was a parent that did this, and like how, like, is that even possible?
So it's a little bit of what I said earlier, which is about the way in which we talk about the things happening currently. So if we're having a conversation right now about physical discipline, and you tell me, like I spanked my kids, and I'm like, okay, like it's on me as a person who can recognize all the things to be like, well, let me give you resources and offer you suggestions, but also tell you the negative side, because a lot of people aren't aware of where that can lead to. Because a big thing I hear people say who've already been through it, or who, the people who are like really excited to like randomly beat their kids, they say, well, I was beaten, I turned out just fine. That's like a comment. I'm fine. Like, what's the big ordeal? And it's like,
asterisk.
Right. And it's like, define fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, you may not recognize it because you feel like I have a good life, but it's about how you maybe respond to certain stimuli. Maybe it's the way in which how's your anger? You know what I'm saying? We can uncover some things.
Yeah,
right?
But I think that's twofold too, though, because think about like the kids who people see running racket and they don't care and they do whatever they want. They've always done whatever they want.
And I mean that's what I'm saying. It's a broader conversation about discipline and how we show as parenting. But as far as to answer your question, like how can we make that space? And I think that's how we can. Allow people to tell their truth and maybe not necessarily down the floor. Because I think there's, like we already said, there's a difference between you spanked your kid, you whooped your kid, and what that nigga did. Because he hit that 3-year-old very hard, and then he picked them up by their neck. I just watched it again to make sure I wasn't tripping.
No, you wasn't
picked the
tripping.
baby up by his neck and shook him. Like I said, you could have killed that baby.
Yeah.
And so that's abuse. That's just like outright abuse, right? And I don't think that there's any justification for that. I don't care really how angry you were. You allowed yourself to you allowed your anger to allow you to make decisions that you can't take back.
Yeah.
And those are your consequences, and you're gonna face those.
Yeah,
it is what it is. But all these conversations, we have to be right here and ready to. You have to be also ready to hear the other side of things, right? If I'm telling you, hey, here's what rape culture is. Here's how it can affect both men and women alike. And you basically say, okay, well, that's not what I mean by doing that, so I don't care. Okay. Well, I gave you what it can mean. You decided to not participate in the conversation. You either want to get better or you don't as a society. Yeah. And that's a conversation I have a lot when it comes to like parenting, because people, and it goes back to save the babies and their oppressed group of people. Whenever I have a conversation about parenting and how we can be better and less angry and less have less vitriol towards children for doing bad things, it always goes back to, well, this happened to me is whatever. Well, sometimes you got to knock a kid out. Sometimes you got to, and it's like, good God Almighty, do you want to raise good people or not? If we already see the line of abuse to abuser, what makes you think that beating your kid consistently will not have any type of impact? What makes you think that being angry and cussing at your kid is not going to have any impact to them? There is going to be impact whether you intend for it or not intend versus impact.
I think systemic racism has something to do with that as well. I mean, it's kind of internalized, especially within our community. Because I remember the stigma is kind of like coming out where people are like, I've heard this said, like, I beat them in the house so they don't get beat by a police officer in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have come out and said certain things of that nature. They are, I think also, as we're having a conversation, the question that I had that I was posing myself is like, do we as a society really make room for rehabilitation though? You know, when you look at other cultures and other European countries and things of that nature, they really keen in. I'm not saying that there aren't prisons or things of that nature, but their prisons are really designed for rehabilitation.
Yes.
When people do something wrong, it's like, okay, you have to face a consequence, but the ultimate consequence is like to recondition your mind so that you can enter back into society as a justifiable person.
Our
and I don't
prison
think
system isn't that at all.
I would say my favorite other talking point.
But see, and that's the thing though. I think about like not even just the prison system, but like even just like correcting behavior, right? And I feel like there's so many ways to correct behavior. There's so many ways you can address things. And that's why I was saying, like, everybody isn't going to look at it as like I was abused. So like when people are like, oh yeah, I was beaten, I turned out fine. Not even just turned out fine. Some people feel like I needed that. Some people feel like if I didn't get that, I wouldn't have been like this. I would have went down this path. I would have, and I think that's why I always say rules without a relationship equals rebellion. Because the reality of it is, it's one thing to be able to discipline your kid and address them and they learn the lesson, but it's another to be able to communicate to them so that way it makes a difference in their, so that they're not repeating the same issues again. And so I think, you do got people who they didn't correct. Like I know I used to work for this school, and I had this one kid, he just kept getting arrested. He kept going to jail. And like his mother just kept saving him, bailing him out. And she never, like got on him. He would, the judge sentenced him basically like, you got to be enrolled in school. He would be enrolled in school, but he would never attend. So I unenrolled his ass. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I can't be unenrolled. I'm gonna go to jail. And I said, well, maybe you need to, because I don't understand why you're not in school. And his mother, he like, I'm gonna call my mother. First thing, I'm gonna just call my mother. And his thought process was, my mother gonna come and fix it. And his mother sure did come down to school cursing me out. You need to put it. And I said, no, you need to be a better mother. Because at the end of the day, you shouldn't be enabling him to continue this stupid behavior. This is why he done been in jail 3-4 times. And he gonna go back thanks to you. And I feel like, it has to be balance in parenting. Because I feel like we so big on like gentle parenting and supporting our kids. And I'm with that. But I also believe in addressing behaviors. But that's why I feel like the relationship matters so much, because it's like if you don't have the relationship with your kid and y'all aren't communicating and y'all aren't talking, it is going to be very hard for them to hear you in any capacity. And I think that's why a lot of people resort to beating, because it's like, this is the only way I can correct you. Mm-hmm. But
it's also information too. Like we talking about this community thing, I feel like a lot of times when you don't have the information, you don't have another way, right? It's like we're communicating. Like if I don't know any other words, I might curse. Right? Understanding that, like I understand now that cursing literally has no value to it, and even the explanative, whatever, is no real value, right? It's other words that you can use. So like, but we had to learn that. So when it's just like being a parent, it's like if I don't have the resources, I don't have a community, I don't know, or if it's funny, I joke about this, but it's like Uncle T said from Baltimore, it's like, yeah, like we could have
you can have
a community.
What is the community retarded?
You feel me? So it's like, it's the same thing. So like I could have a community, but what that community consists of.
But that's why Jamila said providing resources, right? Yeah. But I think the issue is that a lot of times it comes from a judgy stance. So it's like,
and that was another thing. There is a lot of people who have the knowledge. A lot of people who have the knowledge, who have the resources, who sit on this, pedestal. There's a level of elitism and judgment, and that's something that I'm very like aware, and I try to fight against, because I know how it can come across a lot of times like, oh, this bougie bitch.
So why would I listen to you?
Exactly.
Because you already frowning your nose up at me.
When you are actively participating in community, I feel like you address it in a different way. I can give it like last week. Was that last week when Alani was here? Mm-hmm. She's having a ball. Okay, she's having a ball, and obviously he's frustrated. So I'm going to put myself in a position where I can redirect and like, let me, distract her and do this type of thing. That's a very simple, clear example of just being community based without me. Like, why would is there anything to scold him about? No, like he's frustrated because she having a ball, running amok, being a 2-year-old. When clearly it doesn't hurt me to put myself in a position where I can distract and redirect. Some people, it's not my baby, it's not my problem. Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm about to get the fuck on. Oh, your baby turn up. Oh, bye. You know what I'm saying? And so those are just different levels of and how we can be. I think if you come from the perspective of I'm trying to be more community based versus I'm trying to show you that I'm better than you, it'll be different. Because even when we have the conversation of like sexual assault, a lot of people don't even know that they've been sexually assaulted either. It doesn't change the fact that you were, right? And it's also a really hard thing to realize too. So you also need to allow space for people to come to the realization that, maybe,
oh girl,
I did not have the best experience growing up. It does not take away the love that you may have for your parents.
But
right?
also we need the space to be able to like, if we're gonna get better, we gotta acknowledge something is wrong. If we're gonna acknowledge something wrong, we gotta be open to seeing it, right? So even when I see this video, as harsh as it is, I don't think I've seen one comment saying then we need to help this man out so this doesn't continue to happen again. So if we can say we need to get better, right? So saying we need to get better, understanding that something need to be fixed. But the moment we see something, it's like, oh fuck no, it's, like you said, that elitism is that being judgy. When it's like that's the easiest, that's the same what we doing, right? As much as it's not as extreme, it come from the same space as what he doing, right? It's like who cast the first stone. You know what I'm saying? It's like we judging, right? But it's like, bro, like hold up, how do we get this man help so it doesn't happen again? And I think that's the hard part. It's easy to say, man, we gotta be a community based and all this and all that. But to be community based, you gotta understand that, okay, it might be some shit that I might walk into that's a little different or something that I don't agree with. And I have
difficult.
You get what I'm saying? But it's like it happens, like we ready to throw niggas away, throw people away. It's like, I don't know. And again, I'm nowhere justifying that this is okay. It's just if we want to get better, we gotta understand that it's some things that we're gonna uncover that gonna be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
and Jamila, you just said something that kind of triggered me a bit when you was like, you know, when you mentioned the sexual assault thing, right? And it's like, you may not have known you were sexually assaulted or whatever, right? I think that one thing that we do as people a lot of times, especially this day and age, recognizing what things are, identifying issues, a lot of times we put trauma on people that people weren't even traumatized about. Mm-hmm. And I think that that is such a, I think sometimes it could be a disservice to people because, you know, there's so many instances like you may not have felt like you were sexually assaulted and you've been walking throughout your life being just fucking fine. Like nothing is bothering you. And somebody came and told you, no, you were sexually assaulted. This was traumaful. This happened to you and I'm going to tell you why. And then they elaborate and they dig and they give you all, and then you're like, now you're a whole different person. It's a whole nother shift because I was sexually assaulted and now I'm a survivor. And now and it's like, you were fine. You didn't.
I think it's definitely for the person to claim, like, if, like, for example, if you are telling a story right now and like I'm hearing some things, I'm like, yeah, you know, I may ask a follow-up question for sure, but it's not for me. You need to. I'm not going to do that because again, like I said, it can be very hard for people to come to the realization sometimes, like, oh my gosh, now that I think about it, and then you start to do. And I think that what we can do is we still have to have these conversations about what those boundaries are as far as if we're talking about specifically sexual assault, right? These are things that quantify as assault, right? This is what coercion looks like. And when people continue to hear it, they can reflect on their own stories, right? Like,
and you create a boundary, things that you don't allow,
exactly,
and the things that, you know, and then even for someone who may have done it, it's like things that I wouldn't do anymore.
But I'm gonna say, you know what I think of? I think of it thinks of like. It reminds me of like programming.
Yes.
Right? It's like you can be programmed to understand one thing. And it's like you think you okay, right? But now because you think you okay, you think that just as much you say somebody can be sexually assaulted and not know that they were sexually assaulted. Somebody can sexually assault and not know that they're sexually assaulting somebody.
Ignorance is bliss.
So now you're programmed to think this is okay. And it reminds me of how young men are programmed from the beginning, right? Yeah. So now we see more men talking about how they were sexually assaulted by their
teachers or
their babysitter, right? Because I was one of them, right? But at the end of the day, to your point, because I was programmed to think that was okay, shit, you couldn't tell me nothing at that time. Yeah. But again, now we in a new era, I can look back and I'm like, damn, like that was messed up, right? Like I was sexually assaulted when honestly, I was okay. Like, do I need to have some type of pity party? And I might not be using the right word for the people.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to now feel a sense of trauma, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's a weird paradigm to be in. Like, yes, I can acknowledge that I was sexually assaulted because by law, by definition, you know, whatever, like that's what it was. And maybe I can even find a connection to certain things in which that I maneuvered in life, but I today currently don't feel a level of like trauma from it. Like those two things can exist in the same thing.
No, that's a fact. It's just, again, it is nuanced though, because depending on the person, right?
Yeah, like it depends on your mind.
It's like you can manipulate things to work in your favor, right? So now you might have a lot of men who being like against it and I don't know, like judgmental to other people. Like, yeah, man, like what we need to do is da da da. Like, bro, that really ain't even affects you like that. Like, so now you being the spokesperson for it when it really ain't even. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be able to speak on it, but it'd be like now you're using it to benefit from it, and it's like it just. Because you never know who is and who isn't. You know what I'm saying? So
that goes back to victimhood.
Yeah, it's on
not
them
for us
to
decide how something affects you. And it is a whirlwind to recognize later that something traumatic happened to you. And sometimes you recognize it then that this wasn't, something about that wasn't right. But I don't know exactly what happened, but whatever. Because we don't have the language to understand. We don't have the understanding. Later it's like, yo. And again, sometimes what really makes it hit home for people is when they can start to draw the lines for how it affected them later. You know what I mean? And that's what started. It's a thing that you have to now uncover. And it's just like, it's like seeing your whole life flash before your eyes. Like, oh my gosh, what the fuck now?
Okay, yeah.
But again, like, it's not for us to decide whether or not that really was traumatic for, just because you now figuring out that it was, you just milking this. If they are, they aren't. That ain't for us to decide or to dictate or to communicate with. It just is what it is. Because regardless, if a thing happened, a thing happened.
Facts, yeah, that's true.
All right. Next topic. Y'all good?
Yeah.
All hearts, minds clear. Why you look like that? Why you raising your eyebrow?
You a robot?
I just want to say to
Why?
wrap
Because
it,
I just
to
cut it
wrap
like
that
that.
up, to wrap that up, I feel like, to both of y'all's point, I feel like it is a thing of like, we do have to meet in the middle where we have to be vulnerable and be like, look, I need help and I'm frustrated.
Yes.
And then it has to be a thing of, okay, well, these are some resources. And it's like, well, this is what I do and this is what I know. It can't be, and then I think that it has to be a less judgy space where it's like turning your nose up and saying like, well, you should be doing this. It's more like either let me help you.
Yes.
Or like, I get it. I understand why. And I think a lot of times we don't have those conversations. It's like, I understand. It's more so like, you just shouldn't be doing that. And it's like, that doesn't help me. I'm struggling. So I love that, like the example you used when you were like, stepping in and like, okay, well, let me distract. I think on the conversation side of it, though, it doesn't typically happen like that. Usually community shows up physically for sure. But in terms of a communication stance, a lot of times it is the nose turned up. It is the, you shouldn't be. And it's like, okay, well then what should I?
Facts.
So.
Period.
Okay. Next
We're doing
topic.
so good today, guys.
So viral skit. Juicy drops a viral skit talking about the mega church this week.
Look at Jamila. You so funny, bro.
What I do?
I don't know. You just unintentionally just be looking like goofy,
what's
like,
that?
let's
That's
get it.
Split decisions. A lot
Bro,
of different conversations on that topic.
It just shows where we are today. And like, again, I just don't know. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. And because
Like what?
The playfulness.
Nah, like me personally, I thought the skit was impressive, right? Like
Thoroughly.
I didn't think it was as funny, but I thought it was impressive the fact that he could pull that off.
Had me hooting and hollering. I tell you that.
Yeah, but what I will say is, outside, I guess I don't know. We can get to the skit. That's just not what I was thinking when I seen it and I seen the discourse online. I'm just like, damn, like we're in a space where Christianity not even like it's almost not a thing anymore. And I say that because it's so many people who are like just arguing about it not mattering or not it not mattering, just like arguing against the church. Like, man, that's why we need to stop going to these churches. Like it's always been like this. You know what I'm saying? It ain't even about the person that he's talking about. It's more so about the church. It's like an attack on the church now. And it's like, damn, but this is a norm, whereas though, like back, I don't want to say back in the day, but like, it was just an unspoken rule, like to have some respect. It was like kind of like not cursing.
Sacred.
Yeah, like not cursing in the church, right? Now it's like, man, we don't give a fuck about none of that. Like, man, this shit been corrupt and fucked. It's like, damn, it's like, that's where we at. And it's like, it just make me feel uncomfortable because like, damn, like I understand it. But the discourse, a lot of the discourse that I see, because there are a lot talking about if he wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't people doing it, right? But I see people making it about a church thing and not the person thing. And I'm just like, it's just interesting. Like, it's like, damn, like, what I see people, how I see people talking about the church now, probably would never been talked about before. And it's just like.
But it also, I don't think it also was like super mega churches then either. So it's like.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, that's a
I'm
fact.
about to say
Yeah.
at first, the church was a smaller thing
yeah.
and it was community based and it was, so I think it was easier. But now it's like everybody, because churches are so big now. And the thing is, honestly, when you think about, I seen a post and it was like, when you think about mega churches though, mega churches make up maybe 2% of churches in whole.
If that.
But that's what's so zoomed in on, like that's all we see because they're mega churches.
Yeah, because
so they're absolutely they have production and all that. But the smaller churches, they don't have all of that.
But guess what? Not to cut you off, like that's funny that you said that because in our country, the people that have most of the money makes up to be 1% of the population. So it's
Yep,
kind of
it's the same exact
same
thing. It is the same exact thing. So you think about it. Think about how like all these small churches, they still operate, and you could find a small church that you love or felt like was a home church. But because you only see mostly like mega churches, you see only the big theatrics because they have production. So you don't hear about no smaller churches. Like I think about the fact that like even me being in Atlanta, and I'm like I was trying to like at one point I was like, yeah, I want to try to find a church. And I had seen my friend posting.
What, 2819?
Well, I
One
don't
of
know the
them.
numbers. Okay.
2819 or what's the other one?
Change.
It's either one.
It's Change. Oh, 2819 is a
like
name of
Change.
another
I go to
church.
Yeah.
Now, I had a friend post that she works for them, whatever that looks like. And so I was like, oh, I want to check it out. Like, I think she's, cool, whatever. And I went. Well, I didn't go because I had told her I wanted to go, but it also felt a little disconnected because even I told her, I was like, I wanted to check out this church, like, and she was like, yeah, come. Like, okay. So I never went, but I was invited by somebody else and I went with them. And I don't know, I didn't feel anything. I felt like I was just sitting. Like I didn't feel no connection. I felt like the word was all over the place. I just was like, But, again, I didn't even know it was a mega church, to be honest. I just seen it, but I should have because they had production. But I wasn't thinking of that. I was just thinking of like, oh, I know somebody that I know is God-fearing and a good person attends this church, so let me, see about it. It's more like word of mouth. And so I don't really know, but I feel like when we go to like smaller churches, a lot of times I feel like there's a disconnect there too. Because you have like, it's a lot of older people and it's like, it doesn't feel, I don't want to say fun, but it just don't feel welcoming. Like it's not a good vibe. It's like, this is boring. And now I'm not paying attention.
I would say that's valid though.
So it's like there's no in between. It's like either lit and you got my attention.
We're in the club.
Right. And it's hella money going through this motherfucker. Or it's boring and old and disconnected.
Through the years.
I think, to your point about like,
It's so much open
Sacred.
criticism, I guess that's the word.
but I think that's social media across like religion across the board. You know what I mean? Like on my algorithm, like I see a lot of different conversations about like the Jewish community, about the like Islam community, about Buddhist community, and things of that nature. I think that we live in a there's an up and coming generation that doesn't take things, and it's kind of like a double-edged sword, but they don't take things as serious as generations prior. Like I laugh about it at times, but like I look at my nephews and my nieces that are much younger, and it could be war on the horizon, and they're making jokes in the comments. Like they're just they don't see the gravity of certain things. So I feel like there's a disconnect in that aspect. I mean, obviously a lot of people profit from it, but I just think across the landscape, I don't necessarily think. I mean, obviously it's a conversation that we're having about Christianity because the skit was derived towards that community. But like, it's something that when I was doing some more research on it, I've just seen it across the many fronts. Drewski is more relevant to us because he's within our own community, but there are other people that have made jokes about the Jewish community and things.
I was wondering that.
Yeah, about the Jewish community, about like how things go in that aspect because it has always been so, for lack of a better word, serious. As some people, and I believe also, it should be. But I think that we're just in a climate right now where, and I'm not trying to fault social media, but it has opened up the door for a different type of dialogues.
Yeah.
And that it has
Because everybody
removed.
gets a voice.
Yeah,
That's
but it
the
has
thing.
also removed like this aspect of a sacred space in a sense. And I'm not saying that it's no longer sacred, but like your perception as to what is sacred and what isn't has kind of been watered down and diluted because there's so many different opinions and everybody can say something about.
But that leads to the big productions of it too, because it wouldn't be on social media without them damn productions.
Yeah, and that's
Right.
You
crazy
wasn't
because
doing all of that.
that's
You
why I say
opened
it's
the
a
door to
double-edged
that.
sword.
Now, granted, I also do understand that you're supposed to preach the word to the masses, right, and stretch it far and wide. But when you do that, yeah, I feel like.
And to that point, I don't want to defend. Sorry to cut you off, but I don't want to defend. There are people that have abused the doctrine. They have abused it. They have weaponized it. So that's why when you asked me about it, I was like, first I laughed. And then the second time I was just like, dang, like, we're a joke. And then third, it was like, okay, how do we change this? Like, how do we change the perception? And then we're looking at it like, again, 1%. Like the representation of 1%, but that's like what we're looking at because we can see, because you don't see the church that has 1,000 people that's really making change in their community.
1,000.
You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
like
500
200
or
people.
100.
Yeah,
that like
shit.
when stuff goes down, they're on the ground.
1,000
That's
was
not
still
what's-
big.
But that's not spotless. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like when we look at it, you see I'm gonna name drop, but like a Creflo Dollar
No, but
asking for
Creflo.
$65 million for a
Yeah.
jet. So now it's like when CNN is covering this, and it's like, okay, we're gonna use this to, or the Billy Grahams of the world, or the TV, or what's brother's name from he was on TV all the time, Joel Osteen. And then when there's a crisis like in
Lock
Houston,
them doors.
we lock them doors. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So now that's our perception of you are preaching the goodness of God and everything in that capacity. But then when there's time for us to show up for our community, this is how you show up. You know what I mean? And that's unfortunate because those are the things that people will not forget. You know what I mean?
It
And
shouldn't even be just that though, because the reality of it is there. Kind of like how you said, there's always signs of abuse. There's signs of misuse in that situation, because the reality of it is, why are we in this big ass building in which you have all this production and shit for, but half your congregation is struggling to pay their bills, and some of them are homeless? You don't have a shelter in here for people. You don't, like, to me, it would never make sense to me to have a mega church, to have people putting in their tithes and offering, and you don't have services for them that it actually would make a difference in their lives. That doesn't make sense to me. It don't make sense to me that you have a fancy car or a jet, or you wearing, I don't give, if anything, you came in here preaching, you should wear a damn K&G suit every time you walk through this motherfucking door. Because why do you have on Gucci and Louis Vuitton? I'm not understanding that. That doesn't make sense. And you can't sit here and say, oh, I worked my butt off for this. No, baby, you worked for God, remember? He paid it all. You don't need none of that you got. So everything that you got, you really should be dividing it amongst your congregation or your community. The fact that your community still suffers in any way and you get to live lavish is ridiculous to me. So when you tell me that those big instances are the things that turn people away, I'm not understanding why people aren't looking at you and getting turned away just from visually seeing that you well off than them. Because even Jesus was a carpenter.
And that goes to the like getting back to the skit, I guess. It's like I don't understand the frustration that is Drewski, because bro, he's mocking the people that is doing it. Like I never once looked at that and like, oh, he's making a mockery of God. I never thought that. Like, I'm thinking like, no, he's mocking. Like, again, if we didn't have people in these positions that was doing that,
it wouldn't be
a skit. So it's like,
and I think the caption was something along the lines of
It
the
said-
pastors that
It said
love
pastors
money.
love money. It said pastors
Exactly.
love money. It said
So if we're trying to, he's not mocking Christianity,
Yeah.
right? Because pastors are not Christianity. Pastors is a
person.
person,
It's a title,
right?
yeah,
It's a title.
like, yeah.
So my thing is, I have so many things. Comedy wise, I think Drewski is very funny. But what makes him funny to me specifically is the fact that he pulls directly from real life
studies.
situations.
Yeah.
And for me, that's like one of my favorite types of comedy, the relatable comedy. That's why I really enjoy the Dave Chappelle's, the Cat Williams, the S'mores, the Monique's, because they talk about just things that happen to them, the things that they observe in life, right? And they're kind of like not even necessarily telling a joke. The joke is the thing.
the thing,
Right?
yeah, I see
And so
that.
that's why I really enjoy Drewski, and I think that the skit was very funny. Because I've been to mega churches. I've been to the churches that are greedy. I've seen, if you're black, I dare you to say you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And if you don't, I think that the people who were the most triggered are the people whose pastors are probably just like that. And there are people who have a connection to their pastor that is a little strange in the sense that, like,
Idealistic.
nigga, you think your pastor God, don't you?
So
You think that
idealistic.
you can't critique your pastor?
Mhm.
We don't talk about Pastor Johnson. You know how people have that little weird relationship. So it's like, I see what's going on here. And like you said, if there wasn't material to begin with, we wouldn't have had the joke. We've seen this happen time and time again. And I think that churches, there's this thing where people feel like the church is the religion, right? The actual building, the system within said building. Your church alone is Christianity. Your church alone is religion. Not anyone else's. Nope. Because you can't be Methodist. You have to be this Southern Baptist, and specifically the Baptist church that I've been going to my family, because this, it's that. And I think that when you zoom out, you see that that's a lot of the time where the problems lie. There's even weird ties to churches to where pastors feel as though if you haven't contributed in specific ways, they will not help you in certain ways as well.
Oh, for sure.
We can go back to, and
can't
this
have
caused a
your
lot of
funeral service.
controversy as well, which I thought was very funny. It was a social experiment this girl had did where she was just calling churches saying, hey, can you,
Yeah,
you got some
I
baby
seen that.
formula?
Mhm.
And it created so much backlash. And I was like, this is so interesting because she didn't say anything other than, hey guys, I'm about to call this church. And then I'm not leading you to anything. I'm not saying, oh, fuck this church. I'm just going to call this church. Mind you, it's like, tell me which church you want to call next. Please call my church. The people trying to test their own church. Then the pastor gets up there. Yes, she called our church. This is the work of witchcraft. You're letting this witch distract you from the word of God. You're distracting us from the fact that you said no to her getting baby formula. And then some people are like, oh, well, this is a ploy because you're really taking resources away from. Do you think that bitch was really going to get the formula?
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Go
just
pick it
like
up.
you guys are literally so dense sometimes that it's like we're trying to lead you to the water, right? And when we talked about earlier about abuse, right? Like, how do we have a conversation to get better? Well, you have to acknowledge first and foremost that there
Something's
is
wrong.
a problem. We make jokes all the time about the Black community, right? Comedians make jokes all the time about the Black community. And again, it's poking fun at the issues within our community. We know there are things that we need to address and change. And I think that, there's many organizations, there's many things that we're, working to do that. It's slow, progressive change. I will say, in my opinion, this is not based on any data or facts, this is an opinion. I don't know if the church has gotten to a place where they are even, and when I say they, I mean the people who are very tied to the idea of church being the religion. I don't think that they have ever gotten to a place where they're even acknowledging issues. And what's interesting is, from my own personal observation, there was a shift that happened with churches, Christianity or whatever. When I grew up, everyone was Christian. Everyone you knew, for the most part, especially I'm talking about within Black community, right? Everybody was Christian. There was no, you may know one Muslim brother and sister, that one little sector, right? They from Philly or something. I don't know. But for the most part, everybody was Christian. Everybody went to their own prospective church that was within their community, or maybe their grandmother went there, their parents went there. Everybody went to their own prospective church, and sometimes church would happen in conversation, sometimes it wouldn't. Whatever. Once I got to college, I feel like there was a decline of church attendance. These are just my personal perspectives, guys. I don't know any numbers to back this up. I felt as though there was a decline of church attendance from just people in general. I think people maybe just stopped going. And of course, entering into the 2020 of it all, of course, a lot of people stopped going to church because we couldn't. There was a lot
When did you go to college?
I was there for a while. Between 2015 and 2020.
That's funny. Yeah, because I was going to say, for me, it was like, damn, that's spot on. I was going to say, for me, I feel like it was when I got out of college, but I think I was done.
Yeah, same year.
Yeah, like 2017. I should have been done 2015.
So maybe we're about to make some revolutions here. Then, I kid you not, I seen an explosion of people going back to church. And there's no issue with that because, you feel your faith, how you feel your faith. But I swear, I was like, damn, everybody at church.
Girl, it was a pandemic.
Right, no, for sure. But like I said, the decline for me, what I saw happen before the pandemic, I feel like the pandemic extended it.
No, I'm saying the pandemic. I'm
Of
saying
not-
after
of
the
going to church,
pandemic,
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
like, oh, we
Yeah.
almost died, y'all. We need to get right with the Lord.
Exactly. So then I seen an explosion of church. But something specifically is within that time period that everybody was home, there was an expansion of virtual church.
Virtual, yeah.
And I think that virtual church is
Production.
what reignited this idea of the mega church.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use 2819 as an example.
Is that the name of it?
Yes.
Why is it called that?
I think that's a verse that they attend for. I think.
Okay.
So I use that as an example specifically because of that pastor.
Which pastor is that?
Philip Anthony Mitchell.
Yes.
I ain't gonna lie, tread lightly. I fuck with you. I ain't gonna lie, that nigga cold. I'm
He
sorry.
be spitting, boy.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know nobody, so you go ahead.
No, you
girl.
know who Philip Anthony Mitchell.
So-
You said you ain't like him.
No, time I'm about to say, I know you showed me a pastor that you
Yeah.
really love, and
You
I was
said
like,
you ain't fuck
yeah,
with him.
okay.
Yeah, but that's what we talking about. That's what we talking about.
Yeah, so I'm going to use that as an example in a second. But like I said, I've seen these were just my observations. I'm like, wow, a lot of people are attending these, virtual services and things like that. And I think because of that, it allowed for the reignitement of larger services, right?
makes sense.
And so then there were some pastors who didn't even have a physical congregation, who built the congregation just off of their
Online.
virtual word. Okay, cool, right? And then present day, I've seen way more attendance of mega churches. I don't know if there's more mega churches. I don't know the numbers of that, but I will say I've seen a higher attendance of mega churches than I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was only a couple people that went to these really big churches.
I don't even think it was in my day. I never even
understand,
think that shit existed.
So
Yeah.
now I'm
Online.
like, this is very interesting to me. And
Overnight.
I want to pinpoint 2019. There's two pastors I actually want to talk about. Him and
The other guy, the young guy, right? I'm assuming.
Todd.
Michael Todd, something like that.
Michael Todd.
And that's
She is so
changed.
funny, bro.
Well, that's
So-
2019 too.
No.
Michael Todd is Transformation Church.
Yes.
He wanted to
Oh.
be changed real bad.
Okay.
So the reason I want to bring up these two
Yeah, they the
pastors
two
is
ones
because
that
I
people
think
talk
they have shown examples of things that I feel as though are not the best representations of the church
Mhm.
in my experience. Because when I saw it, I was like, yuck.
Talking about where he spit on
Well,
his...
that for sure.
Wait,
But
somebody that was
Michael
Todd.
Todd
Yeah.
spit in
You
his
saw it. He
hand
sent it to me when he...
That was Michael Todd.
Yes.
Yeah.
and rubbed it in that man's face to make a point, right?
Yeah.
I think Michael Todd is an example of
No way.
theatrics, right? And for me, I think that what are
Wait, that was
let
Michael
me
Todd?
let me find my point because I'm about to start
That's
going to a whole
disgusting,
other
bro.
rant.
You think I'm about to say is there not two Michael Todds?
Nah.
I don't know.
That's
But-
disgusting.
I'm about to say because who you think about? I feel like it's somebody else.
But go ahead.
No.
You think-
If it's
no,
the one
you
that he
thinking of
spit-
Pastor Mike, the lighter guy.
I don't
Michael
know.
Todd is a darker guy. But
Go ahead, man. I want because you I like this whole.
Okay,
timeline you
so
got.
when I started to see, I saw a couple of quick snippets of Philip a
Mhm.
couple of times, and I'm like, cool, like every now and then, if a pastor come on my timeline, I'll see what they're talking about. Let me see what you're talking about, and I'm like, okay, that was a cool little whoop. Okay, that was a cool little whoop. I cannot remember what it was, but there was one time he came across my time, and I said, he's gonna be a problem at some point. He is going to. That I know it was something that just call it discernment. I said something is touching me right now. I can't remember exactly what it was. I'm sorry, but I promise you, I was like, remember this for later to myself. And lo and behold, come back a couple, however long later, and he's on stage advocating for Black folks to basically be docile towards police.
I knew she was going to use that example.
And I was.
Yeah, I knew you were
And
going
I
to use that.
was.
And I was. I say that because during the civil rights movement, churches were very, very pivotal. A lot of churches were used as meeting places. We already know MLK was a reverend himself. The church was used as a sacred place outside of surveillance so that they can have upward mobility and progression. And that has always been a reason why I don't go against Black churches in a public way in that way, because Black churches have a long history of serving as civil justice and change.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see a Black pastor who has a large congregation get his bald-headed ass up there and say something so
Not even
incredibly egregious,
Yes.
Wait,
it
who?
is pissing me off, especially considering he has ties to the Republican Party.
Who are you talking about?
Wait,
Which
why is
one?
that? Why is that
Which
egregious?
pastor
Because
you
he was just saying
Philip
basically
Anthony
like
Mitchell.
respect the
Philip
law, so
Anthony
you don't.
Mitchell. Oh, I thought you were talking about Mike
Right?
Todd.
Am I
Let me
mishearing
find
that?
it.
Because he was basically just saying
He
like
did
respect.
apologize about it.
Wasn't he just saying respect
But-
the law? So like because basically, if you,
Jay is one of them people. He believes
He was
in it too,
essentially
so.
saying that, like, the reason why your child is, and I'm paraphrasing, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but like the reason why your child is being abused in the streets is because they have a problem with authority, essentially.
yeah,
Like, you need to teach your child to understand authority and respect authority figures.
yeah, I don't. So as a blanket statement, okay, that's wrong. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that applies in some cases, though.
That's not why Black
Like-
people are being attacked by police.
It's
though.
not, but
so,
but can you have like a part to play? Like the guy that we seen got his windows mashed
No,
out,
you
right?
about to be
When
with
you
this
first
victim thing
seen that,
again.
it looks like, damn, this is so wrong. But later on, you see the rest of the video. It's like, man, you antagonist. Like, man, if they ask you to get the fuck out, just get the fuck out the car. Like, we want to be. It's like we want to take matters in our own hands, and I understand it. But it's like, yo, what? It's just, I just think it's middle ground. That's all. That's it.
So here's the thing. No, you being an obedient, good black boy has no means to police brutality. Those two things are not correlated, right? Sure, you've seen a video where somebody has antagonized the police. I don't care. You know
You've
what I mean?
also seen videos where they haven't. And
So
they still
that's,
suffered.
but that's just not why police brutality happens. And so for him, with the platform and the congregation that he has, to get up there and say something like that, that is very damaging.
So to that point,
Mhm.
going back to the conversation that we had before, right? I agree.
Mhm.
I do think that it was irresponsible for him to come from that stance, but I do think that there was room. I don't think externally they made room for him to, like I said, he issued an apology, understanding, and he did the research. Like he talked about it. He's like, I did not understand the gravity of what I was saying in that particular moment. He's like, but I've done the research, I've had conversations with people, and I understand that this was wrong, and here's why. Here's my problem with social media with that, is that we're going to run with that narrative, but nobody's going to. He was just as loud with the apology as he was with the statement, but we're not going to cover the apology, which leaves the overall stigma as to like, he just doesn't get it. Where he's done the work. That's why I said, do we leave room for rehabilitation in this society? I don't think so. We say we want to, but like, we really don't, because like, here's an example of that where it's like, okay, I misused my platform. This is how I felt, and here's why. Here's what I have learned, and this is how I'm going to apply it moving forward. And I think that he has gone on to say some things that are pretty controversial, right? Like there's a lot of things that mega churches or people in the positions of power have. I'm not even going to go down the pathway of the white evangelical church, because
We already know what
I'm not even going to go down that pathway. But it's just like, this is where one thing that you have said that was taught to me early on, because the church that I went to before I came down here was house church, right? I talk about my pastor often. About 12 of us, you know what I'm saying? 20 on a good day. But the one thing that he has always talked about and instilled in us is like, the problem with the church is that we, the leaders of the church, get to a place where it's like, you're looking at me. He's like, if my goal, and this is what he was always saying, he's like, my goal is that when you leave this building, that you are so filled with the knowledge and the understanding of your word that you can go start your own church. I'm not trying to gatekeep you here. Like, the job is for you
Then
to
you
go.
create an idol.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not here to see me.
Right.
But as a society, we create idols. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, this man has gone on record. You talk about Philip Anthony Mitchell, where they did the Access event when you had 10,000 plus of the Hebrew Israelites outside and everything in that capacity. He didn't pray. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these people were here gathered for him to pray. And he's like, y'all not coming here to see me. You know what I'm saying? There was a woman that went viral about that, where she was like, y'all need to stop. You know what I'm saying? You're making him into an idol. It's like there are people, they make themselves an idol.
I'm about to say, I have a question though about that. I said I have a question about that, just to put a pin in that part. Oh, you want me to ask it?
Oh, okay. Well, I kind of just
Wait, I was going to ask you, did you
Sorry.
finish? I know you were saying Michael, that was just a part of your story.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
It's okay. We done moved. In terms
No, I
of
mean, you wanted to finish?
My hope,
Because that
I
was the
guess
point. That was just the.
yeah, I was using him and Michael Todd as an example, because I don't really know the names of all these big pastors and stuff. And I think Mike Todd is a great example of spectacle and theatrics, which I think, for some people that's what they need to kind of get the word, I guess. But I think when we're talking about the Drewski skit, I think that if you think Mike Todd
I think he
wasn't a
the
point
same
of reference, him on that goddamn tramp, it's like, what?
they showed a picture he had on the outfit.
I think so.
I
I don't know if that was
Photoshop.
AI, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that one was Photoshop. But it's spectacle, right? And when we look at, and I don't know what these churches contribute, so I am not talking about these churches when I talk about this, but when we're talking about the purpose of the church, and even kind of going back to the Philip Anthony Mitchell, was that his name, right? And showing that he had, like I said, ties to the conservative party. Now, again, if you're conservative, you wouldn't give a fuck about that, right? That's what I want. That's But if I'm talking about the relationship of civil rights and the black church, I do expect that from Black churches. I expect you to participate in a certain level of social and civil justice. I do. I just do. Because that is historically what we have always been about. And if you are a Black church, now it's a difference if you're not a Black church, right? Some churches are come one, come all, a blend. But I think that if you are a head of a Black church, you are a Black pastor, the board is Black, then I think that you have a responsibility to do that. And someone who I think actively, ironically, does a pretty decent job of that is Jamal Bryant. As spectacle and as much as he is, and there's problems within him as well, but I think he does a great job of utilizing his platform to also bring up that civil aspect, which is something that I think a lot of mega churches have withdrawn for, even the ones that are led by Black folks, specifically because of that money. Because when you start to talk about certain things, you're not going to get as many the congregation's not going to be the same because it makes people uncomfortable. And that's my issue with it specifically. And I think that that's what I noticed specifically between Mike Todd and Philip. When I see a lot of their things, I'm like, these can also be used to justify your place in society that is outside of civil rights. And it's not necessarily that you're getting up there saying that white is right? It's a way in which you are not using your platform that I'm more concerned with. Like I said, I think Jamal Bryant does a really good job of implementing that every now and then to make it known that this is something that we as a church are supposed to be doing. And also, a church should be a space for the people who don't have much.
So can I ask you, you had a question for Alex. Can I ask you a question? I just want to go back to that. Because I'm not trying to be Uncle Tom. But my mom's, like, she taught me very specifically, like, make it home safe. And I remember having a conversation with Ray Daniel, and he made it to be something negative that it just, I just feel like if you listen for, what is it, not understanding.
To respond?
Nah, what's the word, man? To comprehend. I think if you listen to comprehend, it makes sense to me, right? But I'm gonna ask you. Because I think I was like, your job is to make it home safe. And he's like, me teaching my kid that is scaring them. Like, you was there.
Teaching them to be afraid.
Yeah, and I just don't think that's necessary, right? I don't think that's true. Even when you talk about the Michael Anthony Todd thing, I like, in my opinion, it's like,
Michael
Philip Anthony Mitchell. Yeah,
Call him Pam.
Yeah, when I hear that, it's like I do understand because I like a lot of people do make their situations worse. But does that mean that there aren't instances where police just do this because they? I don't think that's separate. So when I say like when I hear somebody like like you get pulled over, respect the authority and just do what you got to do to make it home. Like some people be like they want to argue why they got pulled over. Like this isn't right, bro. Get your ticket, fight it in court. Like, why do you? I just don't see the wrong in doing that because that could save so many more lives.
So that's a private conversation. Is the issue for me? That's a conversation that you have internally, right, with your children, with your homies, whatever. It's not a public conversation because people who are on the side of establishment policing use your talking point to justify the killings, right? And so. If you're getting online and saying like, well, we need to respect law enforcement, we need to do this, like, and I'm not saying that I disagree with that sentiment, which I kind of do. Don't get me on my soapbox, but whatever. But if that's your statement versus police shouldn't kill people, right? And I'm not saying that you don't also believe that. Then you have all these people who use that as justification for the opposite of the things that happen. That's why it's problematic to be on these public platforms saying these things because it is harmful. It is detrimental because it's reigniting this.
It goes back to victimhood because an abuser is going to abuse. It don't matter if you did this or didn't. If that man wanted to kill that man or wanted to cause harm, they was going to do that anyway. Mm-hmm. Or that's the mentality. Now what it is you just basically saying you just gave him a reason to justify. And unfortunately, it doesn't matter. Nobody deserves to be killed. I don't care. Like, even if they did commit a crime, it is not the police's job to kill them in response to that crime. They're supposed to go through court and all the things.
And that's why I said it's a private conversation. Like, of course, internally amongst Black people, we know like we do our best to avoid law enforcement altogether, right? If we can get out of a sticky situation without calling law enforcement, that's the goal, right?
That's kind of crazy.
Bro, that's just how we live,
and
right?
It's gonna be that way because we can't have a
conversation. And I'm not avoiding the cops.
my tags is expired, please, because I don't, you know what I'm saying? Just stuff like that.
Nigga, it
That's
could be
for
nothing
us.
wrong, police
It
behind me,
don't-
and
it
I'm
don't gotta
still
be
like,
nothing.
what
I'm
you
sure.
doing?
I am. I'm
and,
sure.
and think about
Exactly.
it, but think about the fact that white people don't have to do that. And the reality is, you see how so many videos of white people who will argue with police.
They don't
You
give
see
a
white people
fuck.
pulling out weapons on police, and they don't
Yes.
get that. They don't get the same consequences that we get. So the reality of it is, it's unfair to say that to just say, well, because we're black.
No, I'm gonna be real, and this is my personal thing. I think Jamila, you did a great job at explaining how that should be a private conversation because how, like, I think we was having a conversation about the biggest or whatever. Like, that's nigga, that ain't my.
That ain't my
You
stance.
know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't my stance.
Yeah.
But I can see how it can get taken like that. So I definitely understand that. Makes sense. I think that's touche.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we have to be. It's kind of like cognizant of the opposition in every conversation. that you
Yeah.
have.
Okay.
And the
Right,
thing is, if we
because
don't,
They will weaponize it at any aspect, and you don't know how they're going to weaponize it.
Yes. And
Like you look at
we are under surveillance.
even something as far as, like I said early on, for Trump's first term, or I think it was like Governor Youngkin in Virginia when he was running, they targeted critical race theory.
Yep.
Mind you, this is just a simple course that is available to people, and you are targeting that, and it's like, oh, they're trying to whitewash our history.
The guy that write we were just talking about this a week ago, 2 weeks ago. The guy that wrote the book,
Malcolm Gladwell.
yeah, and he had to come back and apologize
Right,
because
the
they tried to
tipping point.
use that for the stop and frisk thing in New York, and it's like he might not even. That wasn't even his plan. He was just talking about how one thing can lead to another, and it's like, well, okay, this is true, so we gotta. But anyway, I say that to say because now it's personal development conversation now.
Let's do it.
How do we, like, if you want, like, the betterment of the world, quote unquote, right? So if I'm gonna have this conversation in private with my family, with people I care about because I want them to make it home, why? Like, I should be able to have this conversation so the betterment of the larger world can make it home. Like, if that makes sense. Because I get what you're saying 1,000,000%.
And that's why I said we're under surveillance. I was saying I was being cheeky, but I was also being very honest. Like, black folks are under a constant state of surveillance. Our words, our statements, our movements are constantly twisted and flipped and used for propaganda all the time. And so as black people with platforms, yes, we absolutely should be careful with the things that we say on broad platforms because it's used against us all the time. People on the right to this day use Martin Luther King Jr.'s quotes incorrectly to justify their bullshit all the time. And it's not that what he said was wrong or bad. It's just that, and hindsight is 20/20. And even he himself later down the line before he died recognized that some of the things he said was not appropriate, saying that he felt like he was leading his people down the wrong path because you are undermining what this country is. Stokely Carmichael once said, in order for nonviolence to work, the oppressed person or the person who is being the oppressor must have a conscience. The United States doesn't have one. And so if we keep
they
that
got a
in mind,
conscience for themselves.
Barely.
They got a conscience.
Barely.
Hello?
We see that changing too.
so it's like
themselves.
we have to be mindful of where we are.
But
right?
can I also add the devil's advocate here? I'll be devil's advocate in this space, right?
Oh, wow.
Opposed to what you just said, right? I understand making it home safely and all of that, but I feel like if we lived like that during the civil rights movement, we wouldn't have no rights. So at the end of the day, sometimes you have to stand for something. You have to fight for something. Otherwise, we're going to remain docile and this is going to remain the same. So if we constantly saying just be quiet and just make it home, nobody's fighting for anything, and we've accepted the fact that this is the behavior that we have to, that we're going to be subjected to. So if nobody says like, this is wrong, and there is nothing to, we not recording, we're not showing proof of how they're moving, and we just be quiet and make it back home,
it's just gonna keep
there's no change to happen.
I guess
with
my
that.
point is like, so my moms will say, like, allow me to defend you. And so like in school, right? If I get in trouble, and let's say I feel like I was mistreated, like it was unfair, right? So instead of me making a scene right there, wait till my moms get here, explain what happened, and then we can fight it together, right? Same with the police, because it's like if I am treated unfair and the absence of my mom, and then I flip out, guess what? I still gotta be punished for what I did wrong.
Yeah.
Disrespect the teacher or whatever the case may be. Same way, I'm not saying that we can't fight. I'm saying we gotta choose our battles wisely. So if we are getting pulled over, falsely being pulled over for something, it doesn't. I don't think it would behoove you to get out of the situation first, and then we can fight together. But you trying to put force, that's not smart. Like, you don't have a gun, one, you don't have a badge, so like you have nothing to lean back on.
But that's what they want you to. That's what they want you to feel. They want you to feel like you're inferior too. They want you to feel like you have no right. And
but I don't say inferior. I just think it's smart.
I mean, I get it, but you just said you have no gun, you have no badge, and I get you in terms of your mom, but you're a child, right? So it's like you can't necessarily. There is a certain level of authority there, but it's also like in school and things. Because I've had that conversation too, where I'm like, if you don't need to argue back and forth with a teacher, right? But this also isn't somebody that can kill you, that can put their hands.
But that makes it worse. You don't need to argue back and forth with a police officer who can kill you. It make like in that moment. I'm not saying
you're not saying anything that doesn't make sense. I think. I guess what was your original question? Like, how do we have these conversations?
Yeah, no, because like your point was like I think you made a great point, right? Like,
shouldn't have them publicly.
Yeah, like I think that's. But I'm saying like if I'm trying to like save the masses of my people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think like I should be able to have that conversation. Is it possible? Because I do think it's funny we had this conversation. I don't think the world can understand. Like two things can coexist. Yeah. That's one thing I don't think the world understands. So that's why I'm asking, like, is it not a space to be able to be like, no, this is wrong, right? But however, still make it home.
Instead of talking about specific behaviors, let's talk about things that can help us, right? Like tools, right? So for example, know your rights is a very common thing that people say. So instead of saying like, make sure you just sit down and be a good boy for Mr. For he get you. Instead of saying that, say, hey, did you know that you have the right to do this? Did you know that these are rights, right? So that's a conversation that you can't flip and twist any which way. I'm giving you very basic facts that you can look online, but maybe people didn't know. So maybe that's a medium point versus when you're like just talking to your son or your daughter, like, hey, by all means, avoid them niggas. Okay, by all means, make it home, right? Because you're my child, and of course, still you know your rights, but also do as much as you can in this way, and then we can kind of fight it on the back end or whatever. I think that's kind of like the midpoint, like talking about tools and resources. Do you have a lawyer that you can call immediate? Do you know what to do in this situation? Do you know, like those type of things? I think is fine to have that conversation in public.
I think it's also a thing of life is about balance. And I feel like there are people who are there's Martin Luther Kings and there's Malcolm X's. Mm-hmm. So, I feel like both are necessary, both are needed. And I feel like in order for it to progress, that's what it was, right? But I do feel like,
I don't like that comparison.
I mean,
well, I'm gonna tell you why afterwards.
I think a lot of people think that they were like fighting two different fights, but I know on one side it was nonviolence, right? We do sit-ins and I get it, but I feel like at some point there are people who will raise their children to say, we're not accepting that. And some people became martyrs. Like how many people died in this situation?
They both did though.
Right. So I say whether you were violent or nonviolent.
And one was killed by his own people, right?
Allegedly.
So yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
That's why I say I don't like that. I don't like the comparison.
Yeah, but I say that to say like there's room for it all. It's nuanced, but again, I feel like that's just who you are as a person and what you want your children to grow up to be and all. That's up to you. But so when it comes to chastising people for standing up for themselves, I would never do that because you have a right to stand up for yourself. Like they wrong and they wrong. It never. You don't need excessive force in any of those situations. The fact that you're still fucking wrong. I don't care if I said your dick is little. You don't get to punch me. I'm just saying, if I said that, you know what I mean? Like if I insulted you, you don't get to fucking put your hands on me as a police officer just because. Mm-hmm. So it's just like to say like, well, you just need to be quiet. Yeah, you can raise your kid to be that way, and I might raise my kid to be opposite. That's why I'm like, it's nuanced and it takes both in order to make a difference.
And everybody isn't equipped to be on those front lines and to kind of to push for change because even when we look at the bus boycott and how those things started, having Rosa, even the way that was talking to us, like, it was very strategic planning. Mm-hmm. I am going to do this so that I can get in trouble to do this. She was actively breaking the law though. Yeah. Right. So it's like she was doing the very thing that we're kind of telling not to do. Right. Mm-hmm. But of course, these days we have a lot more civil liberties and laws in them, of course. Right. But at the time she was absolutely breaking the law. So technically speaking, her getting arrested, that was just, well, sister, you broke the law, right? Whatever. But Of course, it was to spark a movement, it was to spark change, it was to spark conversation, because I'm going to sit here, I'm going to do nothing, I'm going to accept this punishment because I'm trying to, show a mirror. Because the thing is, and even what's happening right now, a lot of white folks, a lot of privileged folks don't really know how bad it is for other people because they don't pay attention. And so when you see the things that's happening, like for example in Gaza, when they keep showing these videos and it's like, oh, I don't want to see that. No, you need to see that so you know what the fuck is going on, because you're living in a state of delusion. You think that everything is great. No, shit's not good.
Free Palestine.
But I do want to go back to what you were saying earlier about being an idol situation. If if we can go back there, you were mentioning how like we as people create idols within like these pastors and things of that nature. And I was going to ask you, is there no I guess kind of like accountability or awareness to be had on the pastor's standpoint, where it's like you recognize that they are treating you as such? Do you then create a space or a step down in some capacity or some way where it's like, I have a responsibility to you, myself, and God?
Morally.
Yeah.
I think
So,
I think I actually talked to, and it's to your point too. And this was dope. I don't know if it was it
Philip Anthony Mitchell?
nah. Damn. Pastor Bryant, Jamal Bryant, when he was saying like the people will make me an idol, and that's why sometimes like they'll want me and I won't even preach because I think he did talk about that.
So he might have said that too, but I know Philip Anthony Mitchell. That's the point I was gonna make.
Okay, and that's super dope. I've seen pastors say that, like to your point, like because they see it and they
I was
like
some people, I ain't going today.
Right, like I'm not showing up. Like I came here to see you and you didn't. Like I traveled in town.
It might have been
there. But
I thought it was dope. Yeah,
that was the thing that he was saying. It was just like, you're not coming here to see me. You know what I'm saying? You're coming here to see the word, and anybody can present the word to you. You know what I mean? So he is taking strides. I can use him as an example. I don't know about other pastors. Like, sometimes they may have guest pastors and things of that nature, but it's just like, if you're coming here to see me,
then you're
missing the mark. You know what I'm saying? You're missing the moment.
But they know that though. That's where my confusion lies though, because it's like, you know that people are coming to see you. You know that, when you're doing these things, like I feel like that's why I'm like, even becoming a mega church in itself.
So to that point,
some people argue.
Oh, go ahead.
I was saying some people argue that God puts you in place because it's this. I think it's the same conversation of like having nice things. Like I think it's a similar conversation. I've asked my deacon and stuff about that, but I think some people will argue that God never said you were supposed to be poor, right? Like God, I forgot the exact message that they say, but some people argue. You know what I'm saying? Like they argue that God
like why
puts
you
you
have
in,
so much luxury stuff.
Yeah, like they like. You're not.
I believe that.
What?
That God didn't design us to be poor.
I believe that too. That God don't desire us to be poor, but they also said that you're supposed to rather have God than riches. So when you got all this luxury and stuff, you choosing to have that.
I think it to me is honestly, it's outside of religion. It kind of goes back to this idea of capitalism, honestly. Because the same model is everywhere. It's not just the pastors that's siphoning wealth, right? Like if we can zoom out, right? Because that same model can be shown with different corporations, right? I think that's really my issue is that it's the top 1% and then the bottom 99. And so how do we level that level of balance, or how do we level out that balance of power and wealth in all of these institutions?
I agree,
especially
but I think in the church is the worst because it's like you supposed to be for the people.
And the thing is, an institution such as religion and church has such a authority imbalance because of
the pastor,
the connection to God.
Exactly, people are coming to this because people feel a sense of yearning, right? A lot of people, especially when people are starting to go back to church, a lot of them are in a down place, right? They're looking for some level of something, right? A lot of people who go to church actively or who are popping into church are in a place where they're very vulnerable, right? And so I think that you have a responsibility in such an institution to pay attention to that. And I think that it's kind of just simply put in bad taste for you to be a multimillionaire and for your parishioners to be poor and to be impoverished.
So then if it's not capitalism, then what? Because I asked that because I think of we talk about church, now I think about nonprofits. And again, when I was a kid, I thought of all of these things as like, nonprofit, like it's for the people. Like I'm thinking they not making money. Like everything they do is for the people. And then as I got older, that's when I understand that no, this is actually a business as well. Like nonprofits make money, and I just thought I remember I remember when I first started understanding, even with when it came to giving back to the poor, what's the name, like community service. I never forget when I came to school and you had to have a certain amount of community service hours to get my fraternity, and I'm like, nigga, I've been doing that in high school. I got all of that. Like, well, where's your pictures? And I'm like, who takes pictures of fucking why would I do that?
Yeah.
And well, it ain't happening if it ain't documented. So I just remember I say that to say I remember when I understood the business of all of these things, and I was just like, wow, like that's crazy. But if we don't make money from it, then we don't survive. So it's like,
and I'm saying, because a lot of people feel like churches shouldn't pull profit. I'm like, that doesn't make sense, because you have to think about, especially larger churches, like these people are still doing a service, right? Like, think about just the musicians. Like, musicians, the majority of musicians, especially black musicians, make their money from playing at church, right? Because that's a consistent check every Sunday, right?
Yeah.
I can say that because my dad played the guitar in church for several years. That's a consistent check every Sunday. Let me go and da-da-da-da, right? So, yeah, there is money that's supposed to come into the church to help pay for the church itself, right? To pay the people who are doing some sort of service, to pay for the lights in the church, the water in the church, all of those things, right? And then also pastors a lot of time get a stipend or some sort of income from pastoring the church, right? That's fine. I don't have an issue with that. I think the issue comes again when I talk about capitalism specifically is because it's uneven. There is a surplus, right? And so at that point, especially considering this is an institution that is focused on the social aspect, right? Especially talking about the word and giving back and tithes and offerings and all these things, I would think that there would be a redistribution of wealth.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen. There's a hoarding of wealth. And that's because in society, our society, specifically in America, that is
Same thing.
deemed as a good thing, right? You are looked at as a good business owner once you have made it to a certain tax bracket, once you're able to hoard this wealth versus redistributing it back into the masses, into the community. And I'm not saying to this day, right now, Mike Todd has to empty out his bank account and give it to every single person in his congregation. But what I'm saying is, what do these institutions have in place to help their congregation? What do these institutions have in place to help the community? Whether that be food-based, whether that be housing. Specifically, a church that I grew up in, Antioch Missionary Baptist Church in Beaumont, Texas, with John Adolph as the pastor, they developed low-income housing. That's really dope, right? There's churches that bring in millions of dollars, and because of the church, the taxing is different.
Yeah.
Hello, there's things that we can talk about here. You have the opportunity to give back in a way that our government doesn't. And can we recognize that obviously the government should be doing this? Yes, but we know it's not.
Right.
And if you're going to be the institution that talks about spreading love and doing good, then I think you should do just that.
So, looking at some numbers right now, like pastor salaries, essentially, which is a conversation that for another time. But for full-time pastors, like, this is what you do. Like, the average median salary is around $50,000 to $59,000 a year. Only about 15% of people are in that high range. So I hear everything that you're saying, but I also think that when we say the church, we have to be kind of specific language, right?
I think I was more so speaking on the mega
church,
sure.
right?
The ones who
Because
are
it's
making
like
these millions of
those
dollars,
millions.
for sure.
And I think that was kind of what was frustrating for the church with the skit. It's just like, it's a fear of like the representation of the overarching church, right? And for me, if a shoe don't fit, who cares?
Right.
Go on and keep doing what you're doing.
It's a hit
That's
dog
how I
gonna
feel.
holler.
But I think that what you're talking about is a fundamental thing that is across the board. Because again, I've been looking at other sects. I've been studying recently, like the last few weeks, other religions, and not like for like I have any doubts, but just looking at how other people move. And Saudi Arabia is very well, you know what I'm saying? And I look at like the Muslim sects and how they operate and everything in that capacity, and what does giving look like in the Asian culture. I was watching this show way back. It's a reality TV show, but it was funny because they talked about giving. It was within the Asian community and Buddhist traditions around giving. I think that it's tough, and not a devil's advocate kind of situation, but to a philanthropist or somebody that has millions, I don't think that the light just turned off. Can you swap? But I don't her light. But I don't think that a lot of people understand that. I don't think they understand how much they have in comparison to how much they can give. And that is something that I have wrestled with. It's just like, you look at a Mackenzie Scott, right? Well, Jeff Bezos' wife.
Okay.
She gives billions of dollars every year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But if in reality, as to like how much money you make, it's still not enough. You know, and I think that there's a disconnect between the people that have to understand how much influence you can actually make. And that is where we find ourselves in this cycle, especially in the church, where it's like, okay, we don't know how much. And I think there was a pastor by the name of Stephen Furtick that talked about this. He was just like, bro, it's unfortunate because when you get to that level, everybody's talking numbers. He's like, we're not talking about souls anymore. We're talking about numbers. That's the thing that bothers me the most. Is just like, we have gotten removed. And as you all were sitting here, I was in a state of silence because the thing that I kept on asking myself is like, what would Jesus say about the state of the church today? You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't know Christianity. He doesn't know, like, this came after me. So, like, I don't know anything about this.
Yeah,
so when
I
I
know
look
Jesus went off in the church and was flipping tables now.
You know, so like, because what were they doing?
The
You know what I'm
marketplace.
saying? Like, you
Okay.
know, they were desecrating a sacred space. So, like, when I look at it, that's why I was like, the first time I watched the skit, I laughed. Then the second time I was just like, dang, bro, like, this is kind of sad. Like, we're a joke, you know. But more importantly, when I think of what I believe about in the aspect of sacrifice of what happened at the cross, is this the representation that he would have wanted for that? And that's the part that kind of like hurts because it's like, dang, bro, like I know how much the relationship, respectfully, not after churches, but like no man could have gotten that relationship that I had with the Lord. Like no man could have really led me there outside of the experience that I've had on my own with him. Yeah. So it's just like, it's unfortunate when you have these experiences. And I think other religions may be able to speak to that for whatever reason. But for me personally, so when we have these conversations, it's disheartening in a sense, because it's just like, dang, bro, like I know what Jesus has done for me. I know how he has transformed my life, my mother's life, because again, my family from Haiti, y'all. And I'm not trying to ramble or have a rant, but I've seen the other side. So like people be like, why do you believe in Jesus? Because I know the devil is real. I done seen him like in real life. So it's just unfortunate when you hear these numbers about how people have abused it, how people have gone over time and been able to get to this place of marginalizing the very community that they were designed to uphold and uplift. Yeah. And last point, I was talking to Jay about this yesterday, and ironically in Timothy, I'm going to quote Bible for this one, Paul was writing a letter to Timothy, and he said that the leaders have to be blameless. And I think it's for what he was saying was for a time like this. It's like it's not that you're going to be perfect, but you have to walk in the action of understanding that there are people that are waiting to tear you down. There are people that are looking towards you for exactly what we're talking about. But you cannot let your selfish and desires and your selfish ambitions get in the way of the purpose that you're supposed to have. You made a very great point. Jesus was a carpenter. The most of us humbled themselves to be the least of us so that the work could get done. And I don't think that we, within our human desires, have the ability to really have that
because
stance.
In our society, it's like money is so important, right? And it's over everything. And that's where I think my disconnect is. It's like I could never look at like a mega church and think like, oh yeah, this is where I would want to be, because the reality of it is, why? Like I could never look at a pastor having more than the people in the flock, because I feel like there's no way that the people around you are suffering when you are a man of the people. You're a person of the cloth. You look, and you're supposed to be, you know, a representative of God. So what you're telling me is that God said that you deserve so much luxury while my people suffer, but they get to look at you and see you be luxurious,
and you
still
be
suffer.
Surprised at the reaction of that too, right? Because how do you think people can, you know, feel? How do you people would feel seeing that? And that's not just the expectation for pastors. You know, I also hold this level of expectation to. Oh, I just got a back cramp. That hurt. A back spasm. Damn.
You okay?
Ooh,
She getting up there.
It went to the hip to the back.
You getting up there.
God damn. I
30
know.
creep up on you quick.
Jesus. This is 30. But when I look at community organizers and leaders, specifically within, because I specifically talk about the Black spaces because that's what I know. I can't talk about no other group for the most part in this way. I am hesitant when I see someone claim to be a level of activist, community organizer, whatever, but they are consistently trying to pull a level of profit from somewhere. I'm suspicious. And because I know my forefathers of activism, i.e. people who came from the SNCCs, from the Black Panther parties and so on, they were anti-capitalist for a reason, because that is one of the main institutions that oppress us. So how are you falling in line with this? It's just something that I think we should always think about. Follow that goddamn money.
And it's weird because it's very much like, what is wrong with the humble life?
Exactly. And there's a difference. The thing, and when we start having this conversation, the thing that I always hear is, well, what you don't want your leaders to make money? No, I didn't say that. But here's the difference. For example, I'll talk about someone who I really admire as far as in the activist space, Mark Lamont Hill. I really enjoy him as an intellectual, as a teacher, as an educator, right? A lot of the ways in which he makes money is from selling his books, right? So he does the research. He goes out and does the work, writes books, and sells it. Okay, cool. He also has his own private platforms like Patreon or whatever. He also gets paid from, Joe Budden podcast. And he also gets paid from teaching. That's different than some of these other activists where they're pulling money from the organization.
The actual organization that they're standing.
That is strange. That is odd to me. That is strange to me. So it doesn't mean that as an organizer, as an activist, you should not be able to make money. We live in a capitalist society. We got to pay these bills. Yeah. Everyone deserves to be paid for their labor for sure. However, if you are trying to be a voice of the people, then you need to be of the people. And being of the people means not exploiting your people.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the last point that I think we all should take a Chuck Feeney, or capitalists should all take a Chuck Feeney approach to life. You know who Chuck Feeney is?
No.
I think I mentioned him.
You said Chuck Feeding?
Feeney.
All I know is Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World.
I was going to say the same thing.
Chuck Feeney was a white man who was, I think, valued to be around 8-9 billion at his peak. And his goal was to die broke. Like, that was his goal. So from the point of, I think, around 2000 or so, he started.
How old was he?
Huh?
How old was he? No?
I don't know how old he was when he started. I know he died in 2023. But before he died, he had given up 99% of his wealth. Like, he had got the goal. And I think that is a cycle, because he was like, I have given enough to my family to be able to sustain themselves, my children and everything, so that they are wealthy. Because you talk about wealth, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million to take you to it. But $1 billion is a lot of money. But he understood the purpose of recycling wealth so that the next generation would be able to create. And I think that is if you look at, I don't even want to quote this man, but if you look at the net worth of Elon Musk,
that bastard,
how many generations could he heal today?
Yes.
Is it his responsibility?
These fools can stop world hunger. This is why you can never convince me that you want what's best for the people. Anything that you're associated with, when you could end world hunger, lets me know that you're not for the people.
Yeah.
So anything that you choose, I'm never going to stand with you on that.
That was so crazy, because have you watched the show Billions?
I started it. I didn't finish.
Bro, there was a really dynamic conversation. You would love that show. But it was on Showtime. It was a really dynamic conversation that they had, and not to harbor on this conversation, but where the billionaire, obviously it's fictional, was talking to one of his like mentees. And she was essentially talking about giving free access to internet through the continent.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned this.
And he made a good point, which is like, it's just so sad how they think, though. Like, that's how he was looking at it. It's like, okay, we're going to give free Wi-Fi to everybody for, I think it was like 5 years. And then she was like, so then, he's like, after the 5 years, then what? Like, once we leave, then you're either going to have to deprive them of the access that they have now created a norm around, or you have to find the money to be able to maintain it, which is something that you're not willing to do. And it was sad, because I'm watching, I'm like, dang, like, this is the decision that you have to make. And a lot of people are going to choose the latter of just like depriving them. And then it's like, then what is that going to create? Because now you have people that are now,
it's worse than what it was before.
And it's tough because I'm like, I never would have thought of that nuance when it comes to helping somebody. But it's like, okay, we could feed everybody how many times? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but then how do you create a system where you create independency? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're
Yeah.
able to sustain yourself.
And that's the thing. It's about the system. And I think that we just simply don't have enough people with that type of wealth even trying.
No.
Because even when you look at the people who have all this wealth, a lot of the times they are giving away to charity for the tax benefit, for the tax write-off, or to just reinvest in themselves, right? We already know these things to be true. But also the system in place is what keeps people in poverty. It's not just simply not having money, because there are times where rich people ain't got no money right now. That don't mean that they're systemically poor, though, right? Poverty is systemic, and we already know majority of the people who are born poor are going to die poor. That's just how it is. It's designed to be that way. And so I think there's two things that have to happen for us. One, rich people need to stop being greedy bastards and start learning how to redistribute their wealth. Is what it is. You may feel like it's not my responsibility. I work for this money. I really don't give a damn. I still think that is something that you should do. The same way I said, I think that we as adults should look out for kids that aren't ours. I think that your rich ass should look out for poor folks. I don't care. That's an opinion that I have, and I'm not changing it. And the other thing is, as a society, we have to figure out a way to restructure our society system-wise.
Yes.
And that, unfortunately, comes with revolt.
Did you know there's a gift? Did you know that?
Y'all didn't hear that last line?
Revolt. I heard it. Did you know there was a gift tax? Like, I hate the IRS.
Yes.
I'm not even gonna lie to you.
You know how I know
really
that
hate these niggas.
because of me having to do my taxes with influencing. Like, if I get PR and stuff, technically speaking, like, that's a part of that as well. But
I hate these niggas.
But I mean, well, what I have learned from a little bit of knowledge is, you know, it's like, I don't want to say it pays to be an entrepreneur, because like it's a lot of tax breaks and
loopholes and things.
yeah. So like even with,
that's because they know that they started it. So they
even,
like, we gotta
even
find
with
ways
like
to
you know like
evade it.
giving back. Like I didn't know that you get a tax credit for donating clothes to Goodwill. I never knew that.
Yeah, they actually anytime you go there, they go, do you need a ticket?
Yeah, and
get
then
it, yeah.
and I don't want to be the one to say this, but you know they don't ask you how much you gave. So you could technically say I gave $20,000 in.
I mean, I donated my car.
Mm.
So I have a ticket.
Yeah, so you could literally
This is
say
crazy.
I donated $20,000 in clothes, because they don't, on the receipt, on the ticket that they give you, it's not a number.
Yeah, it's not. They just hand it to you. But I don't even know if I don't know if they changed the system or not in terms of the amount. But
Yeah, man. But I guess that was good. I mean,
It's been 3 hours.
Yeah, bro. Let's wrap this thing up, man.
Well,
I think that was good.
great episode, everyone.
amen.
Yet again, we didn't get to all the topics, which I knew we weren't. But
But we did good. We was moving through it.
we did a really good
We
conversation.
did.
How many topics did we hit?
At least
Three.
three. Yeah.
3
It
hours.
felt like 10.
We had 4 more. But
Four more is crazy.
Before we
we
leave.
added like subplots though.
before we leave,
Okay.
The Real is back. Shout out to J. Cole.
Okay.
Announced that he's dropping a fall off. Jilly from Philly announced that she's dropping some real
mother,
music.
After 11
Ari Lennox.
long
Ari
years.
Lennox
Home
dropping
team.
music. Mary J. Blige. She got her
Her
residency in
residency.
Vegas.
Yeah.
The Real is back. Music is back. I
Krishan
think
dropped a song called Yahweh.
T.I. cut his locks.
T.I.
And say he's
Tip,
dropping
the king is back.
You know what I'm saying? The music is back. The real music is back.
That was the head on
The South rises
Better
again.
be
It's
careful.
happening.
Better
It's
be careful.
happening. It's happening.
So shout out to Real Music being back.
Janae Music is back.
Okay.
Period.
What'd
Audience
you say?
dropping
You
a
say
song.
who was that?
Janae Music is back.
Uh-huh.
She
You
full
got
of
something
shit,
that's
man.
dropping?
Yes, Audience dropping
Jay,
a song
fuck you.
January 30th. Problem.
I had an interview with this girl, right? And I was talking about and this is clearly a real thing. And like, shout out to Janae for the inspiration. We talking about sync placements and that taking away like the creativity or love for the game.
Mhm.
Sync placement education. I don't
So
know.
a
what
sync
that is.
placement when you
TV and film.
yeah.
Getting your songs placed in
Oh,
TV shows.
okay.
movies.
So she was signed and she was like, she had a couple sync placements though. So she was like, you know, she still was getting money. And I was like, yo, did you ever like, did you feel like at a point where that was taking the love out of it because you felt like you caught yourself just making music for syncs because like that's where the money at?
Yep.
And she was like, yeah. And we were just talking about that. And I thought of Janae because I'm like, I be saying Janae, and Janae don't make music to make music no more. She make music like it's a job. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? But I get it. But
Because
like,
when you making music to make music, when you love it, that shit don't pay. And I was like, damn, I got bills to pay. So now I'm like, sync. Okay, cool. Now I'm making these corny ass fucking songs that I hate.
nah, I don't like it. I mean, I understand it, but
I mean, you know.
6'7".
It's a part of life. You was big on you gotta get sync placements. Remember you had that girl on here that
Yeah, I
told
did,
you
but
about it.
goddamn, like I ain't understand the beats
really
that it's
know.
gonna create. It's like now you only focusing on syncs. It's like, bro, what about the love?
The love don't love you back.
I get it though. I do
Oh, they
understand.
say love don't pay the bills.
What your girl
Shit,
say?
love don't pay the bills.
What?
What Lady London say? She was like, I'm used to being in a space where when you're the best, you get the reward for it.
Oh yeah, nah.
Yeah.
Damn, we need to get to the Lady London shit. Shit, damn.
That's okay.
Y'all. That was a great conversation.
It was.
Yeah, it was good, man.
1% better.
It's wrap. We out.
Peace.